87,000 people here for the Merseyside derby, and as we kick off here, remember, one thing is for sure here today: Merseyside cannot lose. The cup will go to Merseyside. Will it be Liverpool or will it be the men in blue, Everton, starting this game? Tony Cottee and Graham Sharp in the centre circle, waiting for the signal from Joe Worrell. Bruce Grobbelaar and Neville Southall left and right. And away we go, and Everton playing the ball back, trying to give perhaps as many people as possible in these opening seconds a touch of the ball, just to settle things down, as the first Liverpool man to touch the ball symbolically is the Footballer of the Year, Steve Nicol, onto his head and out of play on this near side for a Liverpool free kick. A couple of yards inside the Everton half, touched by Nicol, back to the tall, elegant Alan Hansen, back again to Nicol down the right. Nicol in towards the penalty area. Peter Beardsley trying to give a first touch to John Aldridge. The ball is back again with Nicol, who recovers his composure. Liverpool trying again to find Peter Beardsley, but very swiftly in there the combination of Watson and Ratcliffe, and Neville Southall has his first touch. And at the moment, true to his word, the stockings are up. Neville Southall said he would do that. A mark of respect from him, but on this hot afternoon, how long will he manage to keep that going, I wonder? Blistering heat down there, perhaps the top 70s. The ball for the first time is with little Pat Nevin, wide on the right-hand side, just inside the Liverpool half. Everton now switch to this near side, to the Welsh international left-back Van den Hauwe. Left-footed centre from him, for Nevin, who's come into the centre. He's forsaken the right-wing position, and he's played the ball dangerously forward for Sheedy, and Gary Ablett gets an important challenge. And Everton win the first corner of the final, down the far side of the field, the right-hand side, and Kevin Sheedy, once of Liverpool, going across to take it. And interestingly there, Nevin causing problems immediately, but not in the orthodox position. He came across to the centre to cause one or two little problems there for Liverpool. The corner kick is taken by Sheedy, and a back header from John Barnes, I think it was, almost putting Liverpool in a few problems, but McMahon was on the line to clear for Liverpool, and the ball is out of play on the near side now for an Everton throw, halfway inside the Liverpool half. A good start here by Everton. A couple of minutes gone already in the final, and the ball is with the captain, Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe seeking out Sharp. Sharp, a good knockdown with his head for Nevin, wide on the right, taking on Staunton for the first time. A key duel that will be. Lays the ball infield to Bracewell. Bracewell with his right foot. Good climb, though, in the penalty area by Steve Nicol for Liverpool. And Everton have started the better side here. Everton again have it. Ratcliffe just inside his own half, looking again to carry the ball towards the far side of the field. Looking for Nevin again. Good balance and poise on the ball from Nevin. Back again with Ratcliffe. A round of applause for Everton from the fans. Ratcliffe then into the Liverpool half, looking for Tony Cottee. And Ablett was first to it, and now Liverpool with a little bit of shape about them at the back. Fine McMahon, formerly of Everton, getting a few boos from Evertonians, I notice, away to the right. Liverpool, though, not at the moment getting out of their own half, and it's back with goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, a satisfactory start by Everton. There was one point, they won a corner early on. I think it'd be important for Everton to be accurate with the corner kicks and free kicks, and to get Watson up there and Sharp as well. If Liverpool do have a weakness, it's the slight vulnerability at cross balls, and Everton might be able to cash in on it with those two players.
3 minutes gone in this 108th FA Cup final. Tale of one city, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, and still the possession with Everton at the moment. Kevin Ratcliffe finding his fellow central defender Dave Watson. Liverpool born and bred, of course, but his previous big cup appearance here was for Norwich City as the captain of the 1985 Milk Cup winners. Neville Southall clears downfield. Sharp is beaten to it. Hansen was first to the ball. All Scottish confrontation there. Now it's in the centre circle. And cut beautifully to the near side for Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy kills it with his left foot. And then a poor ball from him. Easily cut out by Steve Nicol. And Liverpool again now trying to cross the halfway line. Nicol with his right foot. Excellent ball from McMahon. McMahon slips it through for Aldridge. And Aldridge scores for Liverpool! Unbelievable start to the match. I'm almost certain that was John Aldridge's first touch of the whole final. The man who missed the penalty in last year's final against Wimbledon, John Aldridge, playing for the 100th time for his club today, the bookies' favourite to score the first goal, and he's done just that. John Aldridge, yet again for Liverpool, altogether his 30th goal of the season. Liverpool 1, Everton 0.
Yes, it all came really with a sloppy pass from Sheedy, which was cut out by Nicol, and his vision was terrific to pick out McMahon. McMahon could have gone on his own, but he pushed it across perfectly, and there was Aldridge to do what he's good at, put it into the top left-hand corner. But the difference was Everton giving it away at one end, Liverpool having 3 touches, each one accurate.
Well, the man who scored the goals in the semi-final, 2 of the goals, of course, against Nottingham Forest, the man who just for a few days even questioned whether he would stay in the game after the Hillsborough disaster. It affected him so badly, being a Scouser, John Aldridge. And what a moment for him, the highlight perhaps of his career. And he scores for the very first time against Neville Southall. He's never done that before, not with Newport or Oxford or the Republic of Ireland or Liverpool. Now he's done it, and Liverpool are one up. Their first attack, really, of the game. Everton, as we were telling you, had settled down quite well here, getting a lot of the possession, but possession's not enough. And Liverpool now, again, in a bit of space, across the halfway line, down the far side. John Barnes has made 25 yards already. He's just been held up by Pat Nevin. Gives it back to Steve Staunton, who goes square now to McMahon. Some 35 yards from the Everton goal. The captain, Whelan, inspirational as always in midfield. Finds McMahon again. McMahon, who had such a big part to play in that opening goal. Liverpool are in front here. And Staunton finds Barnes again on the left-hand side. Barnes taking on Neil MacDonald, drifting in field. Right-footed stuff, and then the left foot. Back to McMahon, and McMahon thumps it 3 or 4 yards wide of Southall's right-hand post. A goal kick to Everton, but after 6.5 minutes, it's Liverpool 1, Everton 0.
Tonic for Liverpool, the early goal, just what they were after. I think it's just knocked Everton back a little bit. It's important now for these midfield players to get hold of the game, more than ever, really, to make sure Liverpool don't get another. Sheedy's got to work this left-hand side to cut out Nicol. Against Queen's Park Rangers, he was coming forward, destroying them. They mustn't let him settle in there.
Dave Watson with a long clearance out of defence. Graham Sharp comes for it, takes it well, good first touch, holds it nicely, and then plays it wide to his right to MacDonald. MacDonald for Nevin. Nevin now scuttling forward for Everton. And has he played that too far? Staunton, and eventually Ablett helps him out a couple of yards from the corner flag. Pat Nevin buzzing again down the line. Everton have got a throw in about 15 yards from the corner flag, far side of the field, the right-hand side. Neil MacDonald for Nevin. Nevin turns well, and Nevin takes on Whelan, can't get through. Liverpool clear it, and Vanden Hauwe picks up the loose ball. Watson, very studiously, back to the far side of the field again. MacDonald is blocked by Barnes. Good team play there by Barnes. Everton have to chase back to get it inside their own half again. Dave Watson, long ball. No chance really for Cottee in the air against the big Ablett. And Staunton tidies up. Grobbelaar's got it.
Yes, I think what I was going to say before about Sheedy. I think he's a very important player to Everton. And I think if he could get himself into the game as Barnes is trying to do it, it could be influential. I think it's important for Everton. I've said it twice already, and I can't emphasise enough, to not let this midfield settle. If they do, I think Everton are going to have a very difficult afternoon.
Everton are 1 down. They started well, and then John Aldridge, the bookies got it right, didn't they? What was he? John Inverness was telling you 7-1, I think, favourite to score the first goal, and he has done just that for his team, and that's the reason why he's down there. He started this game, and he got the vote over Ian Rush, who, though, of course, on this hot afternoon could still play a part in the final, as the Liverpool supporters chant the name of Kenny Dalglish, on the way perhaps to becoming the first man to lead a side to 2 doubles in 4 years. Liverpool are 1 up, and Houghton's got the ball, plays it early and dangerously into the Everton penalty area. Watson gets it away. Vanden Hauwe completes the clearance. It's still deep inside the Everton half, though, and now some space for Pat Nevin, but Nevin, all he does well, he was off balance, but comes to the near side and gets round Nicol. Hansen tries to check him, and Hansen does check Nevin illegally there. Joe Worrell was a couple of yards away from that one. A clear foul by Alan Hansen. Free kick to Everton. Nevin again looking lively.
Yes, he's had a bright start. Very bright. It looks Rozoy really wants to get into the game. He's not edgy at all. He's coming to this final obviously intending to do well. He's perked up on both sides of the pitch. He's prepared to go at people. giving Everton a little bit of hope.
And the free kick to be taken about 10 yards in from the near touchline, halfway inside the Liverpool half. Van den Houw takes it, and a very, very comfortable catch by Bruce Grobbelaar by the penalty spot.
Yes, I don't think Everton can afford to do that. You know, it's a careless free kick. That's straight into Grobbelaar's hands. Got good players in there, players who were good with the head, you know, Watson, sharp, and inaccurate. That's what I was talking about. The free kicks in the corners have got to be accurate for Everton.
And I'm hearing that we've had a goal here, of course. We haven't had a goal yet in the Scottish Cup final. The big derby game there in Glasgow. Rangers against Celtic. Rangers trying to go for the treble there. And here at Wembley, play has stopped, and indeed it will stop for some considerable number of seconds, I think, because Steve Staunton, the Republic of Ireland international, has been fouled. He's lying just on the edge of the centre circle inside his own half, and Joe Worrell's having quite a lengthy chat with Graham Sharp, Jimmy.
Yes, he came in. I think he went for the ball, fair enough. People might think it looks a bit late, but I don't think it was. I don't think there was any intent there. He went at it, and Staunton went flying over the top. I think he's just been caught in a tackle. I think it's as simple as that. He is struggling a little bit, obviously, because he's getting quite a lengthy bit of treatment. I think while the game is stopped, I think we might consider what Everton will be thinking about now. I think it's important, basically, it will seem natural to say this, they mustn't concede anything else, because they've started so well. But a lot of these Everton players have played in cup finals before, so they shouldn't be too nervous. They should be able to get hold of the game. They come here with 3 wins behind them. It is possible for them to get back into this game, and there have been signs from Nevin and Sharp that it's quite possible for them to do it.
Hugely experienced team, as Jimmy was saying, Everton. Only one player in the squad here today, Ian Wilson, hasn't played at Wembley. Staunton's okay. Liverpool take the free kick. They come towards the near side. Van den Houw is there, but a ball played very quickly and straight back to Liverpool. Mustn't do that, Everton, because once Liverpool pick it up, like great continental sides, they can keep it for almost a minute if necessary, and Hansen shrugs off a challenge from Bracewell, puts his foot on the ball, drags it away from Bracewell, and Liverpool keeping ball at the moment. Still happy to build from the back. They build so much, of course, from that area, and now Ablett decides it is the right moment to fire the ball into the Everton half. Aldridge jumping with Ratcliffe, and Everton get the ball across to McDonald over on the far side. He's looking for Sharp in the air, but Sharp can't make it, and Cottee, looking to feed off Graham Sharp, hasn't really been given a moment yet to get into this final. We've played 12 minutes already at Wembley. John Aldridge has scored again for Liverpool. Lovely work from Steve McMahon, and Aldridge, almost his first touch. It might even have been his first touch, for all I know, of the final, scoring for Liverpool. Altogether his 30th goal of the season. Houghton, high ball again, looking for the goal scorer, Aldridge. Aldridge was just, though, offside. The flag goes up on the near side. Joe Worrell blows the whistle, and Everton take the free kick, and they roll it into the space on the far side, being filled by the former Newcastle fullback McDonald. McDonald again, high ball, looking for Graham Sharp, and Sharp just pushing Hansen away there, and he's been penalised. Hansen rolls the free kick 2 or 3 yards to his left to Staunton, and Staunton plays a short ball for Barnes and gets it back again, still inside his own half. Liverpool again just happy to playing the ball through the back line, and back again to the man in their goal, who hasn't played in a losing Liverpool team since the final of last year against Wimbledon, Bruce Grobbelaar. Liverpool are 1 up from Grobbelaar's kick. Aldridge tries to flick on, and it almost goes from goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Neville Southall just away to our right to clear now, and this will be a long one. Everyone's backing away from him. Hits it into the Liverpool half. Cottee trying to get in first, but Nicol makes it his and gives it short to Ray Houghton down the right-hand side. Sheedy comes tackling back well, though, against Houghton, and the final touch was off Houghton, and it'll be an Everton throw, a yard inside the Liverpool half. Everton attacking the tunnel end here at Wembley, trailing to an Aldridge goal. Aldridge is on it again, trying to find Beardsley with a square ball, but Trevor Stephen comes back well there to beat Beardsley. As Jimmy Arfield was saying, Trevor Stephen and Paul Bracewell really do have big parts to play in that midfield against Steve McMahon and Ronnie Whelan this afternoon. Good work there by Trevor Stephen, and as a result of all that, Everton now looking to try and put something together. Ratcliffe just inside the Liverpool half, hits it quickly, but Stephen kills it nicely. Stephen finds Sharp 25 yards out from the Liverpool goal. Back again with Stephen, the pivot at the moment. Stephen works it towards Sheedy down the left. Sheedy, though, having to go back, so great was the pressure from Nicol. And Bracewell looking now far side of the field for McDonald. McDonald, nice play, straight off the head, finds Nevin. Nevin now facing goal, taking on Staunton, coming inside, still Nevin into the area, and it just runs away there from Tony Cottee, but Cottee chases to keep it in, gives it back again to McDonald down the right. A good period of pressure here from Everton until Steve Nicol, with a lot of coolness on the edge of the 6-yard box, just off the head, gives it back to the man in the green jumper, Bruce Grobbelaar.
Yes, that'll give Everton a bit of confidence. I was just counting the passes there, 14 they put together, so that should give them some confidence, and there was a build-up on both sides before the ball actually came in from Nevin. That's what they've got to try and do.
Houghton now for Liverpool, trying to play it through the gap to John Aldridge, nicely read, nicely anticipated by Kevin Ratcliffe, and the ball eventually out of play down the near side, again off a Liverpool player for an Everton throw-in, but still deep inside their own half, and Pat Van Den Hauwe, the man to take it, who one or two doubts about him during the week, and also doubts about the man who's just had the ball, Sheedy, but both take their place, and indeed the two sides starting this final today with the two sides that got them here, the two semi-final lineups. But Liverpool have the lead, the all-important first goal of the final, scored by John Aldridge. Remember, in the final of 3 years ago, Everton led in the first half through Gary Lineker, who was having a season a bit like Aldridge, really, in England, scoring at will, and then Liverpool came back in the second half with those rush goals to win 3-1. Well, Liverpool have started here with the goal. Everton are trying to do something about it, going through the inside left channel at the moment. Trevor Stephen being forced wide, though, by Nicol. And it's a corner. And Everton's first corner down the left, the near side. They had one early on down the far side of the field. Everton corner kick.
Yes, I think despite losing the goal in 4 minutes, it hasn't rocked Everton. They seem to be, willing to have a go at it. They're pushing forward.
And it's a short corner, and Nevin's in space inside the area, hits it well with his right foot, and it's just wide of Grobbelaar's left-hand post, and Nevin there, strangely from the Liverpool point of view, popped up in a little bit of space there inside the penalty area, and Kenny Dalglish has just moved off the bench down there. Wouldn't have liked to have seen Nevin given that amount of room, and Nevin instinctively hit it towards Grobbelaar's goal, in the end just swerved wide of the post, and now Grobbelaar looking to clear for Liverpool. 1-0 to his team. Aldridge the goal scorer, and the kick is looking to Beardsley. Ratcliffe leaping up well, does enough in the air, deflects it right to Dave Watson. Watson back to Southall. Southall overarm stuff to Van Den Hauwe on the near side. Everton have recovered, it seems, from that early shock. As Jimmy was saying, they've rediscovered a bit of poise again now as they try to redress the balance. Trailing here 1-0. McDonald wide on the right-hand side. McDonald looks for Cottee. Cottee has to come towards him to get it, and it's back again with McDonald. Everton not getting very far on that occasion. Liverpool pressurising well, and Southall again throws to the near side. Gets a little bit more distance this time. And Ratcliffe sets off from the back, almost Liverpool style. Such a pacey player, Ratcliffe. Into the Liverpool half, cushioned on the chest by Sharp. Sharp to Sheedy. Sheedy drifting infield, going through the centre circle, and now wide to the far side of the field. Again, Everton getting a good round of applause from the crowd here as the ball comes in again, looking for Sharp. Hansen half wins it in the air, and now Liverpool looking to counter through Ray Houghton. Houghton infield to Ronnie Whelan. Whelan is carrying the ball towards the far side of the field. The ball goes up now for Liverpool. It's with John Barnes. Barnes as McDonald backs off with his left foot. Barnes, header from Aldridge, and just wide. Diving header from Aldridge. John Barnes with the cross. Neville Southall relieved to see it go just wide of the right-hand post.
Quick break. Whelan. It was again accurate passing that does it. 3 passes from the back out to Barnes. McDonald denied Barnes the space down the left-hand side. He's obviously been told not to let him get out on his left foot, so he just knocked it straight in. It was just over Watson's head. It was a super header from Aldridge. I thought for a minute it was in. It would have been 2 touches, 2 goals, wouldn't it?
That would have been unbelievable if Aldridge had scored that one as well, and it would have made it almost impossible for Everton, but now Everton almost just a moment for them as Trevor Stephen couldn't quite take it in his stride. He had support there as well, just for the moment, but Liverpool are able to clear with a bit of relief, and Aldridge flicks on, just too far in front of Peter Beardsley though, and the players will not want to make stupid runs on such a hot day. They will want to conserve energy. Beardsley knew he couldn't get that one, so the ball is with Everton down the far side. Again, it's chipped into the Liverpool half, and Alan Hansen just does a little bit too much digging there. That'll be a fantastic confrontation between Hansen and Sharp as the match develops. We've now played 19 minutes here at Wembley, and Liverpool lead through John Aldridge's early strike. After Everton had made an assured start, Liverpool in front again through the danger man. Trevor Steven with the Everton free kick. Into the penalty area down the left. Sharp heads it well. Heads it square. Liverpool have got lots of players back. Whelan is trying to run the ball out of defence, and now McMahon will take over. McMahon finds Barnes in a little bit of space on the far side of the field, but McDonald's tackling there was very, very astute and crisp. Beating Barnes, important challenge, and Everton again going through their midfield from Bracewell to Vanden Hauwe. Vanden Hauwe scooping it with his left foot. Sheedy trying to flick it on, and he did so perhaps with the hand there. Joe Worrell again. Well, it was a combination. I thought he perhaps used his hand, but maybe he turned the player there with the elbow, and Joe Worrell quickly onto that one, gives Liverpool the free kick, and Nicol has it, number 4 on his back. But today, very definitely playing in that right full-back position. Staunton now down the far side, the left-hand side, crosses the halfway line and finds Whelan. Whelan, the Liverpool captain. Staunton never stopped running there. A good run as Whelan tried to find the Irishman with the return ball. Watson was there, though, for Everton. And Everton again with a bit of style, playing themselves out of trouble. It's a good game. Nevin now, down the right-hand side. Nevin allowed to take the ball into the Liverpool half. Plays it square to his left. In an unaccustomed role this season, of course, Trevor Steven in the centre of midfield with a big part to play. High ball from him. Looking for little Cotty, but Bruce Grobbelaar stretches. And from the moment that cross came in, that was always going to be the goalkeepers.
Doing well in midfield, just can't produce the final ball. In fact, Liverpool have been knocking balls from the back, from Nicol and Staunton and Hansen, causing more problems every time. It's more accurate, and the players from the back, as we just saw earlier, Staunton, and the midfield players are running into Everton's back four, and that's what they're looking for, to hit them on the break. So Everton have got to be cautious of that.
An early goal, always guaranteed to open up a game. Liverpool got it through John Aldridge, inevitably, I suppose, from John Aldridge. And after 21 minutes here in this thoroughly entertaining final, Liverpool are one up against their great rivals. Everton, though, with the ball. Ratcliffe halfway inside his own half. Deciding to go square to Watson. Watson along the floor for Trevor Steven. Steven trying to skip round McMahon. Showed a bit too much of it, though, to the midfield man. And McMahon's giving it to Barnes. And Barnes is trying to get into the area. Barnes lays it square to Beardsley. 25 yards out. Little chip from Beardsley. Doesn't quite work for Ray Houghton. Ratcliffe's there, but he gives it away. Nicol floats the ball into the area. John Barnes is going across to the far side to collect it. He's trying to turn. McDonald is sticking tight with him. Still Barnes has it. Barnes to Beardsley. Bit tight for Liverpool. Having to go back now to the left full-back Staunton. Staunton might have played it long. Decided to keep it short. Liverpool keeping the ball and posing the problems. McMahon being hustled out of it in midfield there. Fair and square, though, by Everton. Just took too long getting things moving there, McMahon, but then so did Sheedy. And Liverpool are back in business again. Houghton down the right-hand side. Ray Houghton, right-footed cross. Looking for Aldridge. Misses out Aldridge. Barnes comes in on the blind side. And Southall gathers at his near post. And Nevin is released straight away down the right-hand side. As we approach the halfway point of the first half here at Wembley, we've already had a goal. John Aldridge providing that for Liverpool. And Peter Jones to take over.
Everton then with the possession again. It's touched back to Neil MacDonald, the right back, far side from where we are, reverses it towards us to the Everton captain Radcliffe. Left-footed from Radcliffe, 25 yards forward. Sharp wins it in the air again. Tries to knock it down to Cotty. Ball is cleared high in the air. Staunton's underneath it for Liverpool. Heads the ball out. But again, it's played back by Everton. Bracewell is there. And Vanden Hauwe and Beardsley clash together. Ball is inside the centre circle. Tall figure of Dave Watson. Further right to MacDonald again. He'll cut it infield. And Bracewell will slow it down and then play it towards the Everton left. Vanden Hauwe's ran forward. Then has to play it back to Ratcliffe. 10 yards inside the Liverpool half. That's away to our left. We're high up over the halfway line. And to the left is the players' tunnel entrance. Bracewell again. Short square to Watson. Back to Bracewell. Back to Watson. Almost on the halfway line. This time changes the direction out towards us. Ratcliffe left-footed again. A 25-yard ball forward. Hansen clears, but not very far. It's played through the gap by Steven. Sharp plays it wide. Little figure of Nevin. So dexterous, so skillful, Nevin. So good on the ball. Runs away from the challenge from Barnes, who'd gone back. Steven will reverse it out to the far side. It's read well by the young Irishman, Staunton. And in the end, MacDonald has to play it a long, long way back inside his own half. And Watson decides not to play it back to Southall, but square to Ratcliffe.
Competition's very fierce. There's not a lot of room for the players, actually. Every time somebody gets the ball, he's got a defender in pretty close to him.
As Stephen goes forward for Everton, square to Sharp, back to Stephen, just outside the Liverpool penalty area. Bad ball in there and wasted. Sheedy was in a good position. And it's still then Liverpool 1, Everton 0. John Aldridge after just 4 minutes. And that, incidentally, is 30th goal of the season. That beats his 29 from last season. And this, you may remember, a time with Ian Rush coming back. It was almost a suggestion that Aldridge might be out of the side. Ian Rush is out of the side. He's wearing number 12 this afternoon. And Aldridge has scored his 30th goal. 1 goal here at Wembley then, but no goals so far at Hampden Park. That's the Scottish Cup final. Up there it's still Rangers 0, Celtic 0. We'll keep you, of course, right up to date with all those scores.
Tremendous record of Aldridge, really. 2 seasons running to do that, around the 30-goal mark. Tremendous for any striker, whether he's with Liverpool or anybody else. But the difference so far in this afternoon has been that he's had the one accurate pass that's given the chance. So far, Everton have failed to produce a final pass that's been a killer for somebody. They've had plenty of possession, but when it's come to the vital final delivery, they haven't been able to produce it. We just had another example there where Trevor Stephen gave it away after a lot of good work in the last third of the field.
Nevin again, short to Stephen. Ball played back once more to the fullback McDonald. McDonald reverses it out. It's a difficult ball, that, and Bracewell did well to get his head to it even. And finally it's played up in the air by Stephen towards us. Nicol comes in with a challenge. Loose ball picked up by Houghton. McMahon, who set up the goal for Aldridge after 4 minutes. Whelan, the captain for Liverpool. Wide, Barnes, a yard in from the far touchline. The Liverpool left. And Barnes, all skill now, plays the ball across the area. Ratcliffe heads the ball away. Waiting for it is Sheedy. Sheedy is challenged illegally by Stevie Nicol, the player of the year. And Everton take the free kick quickly. And Bracewell, Vandenhauer, all he can do is throw it back to Neville Southall, one of the best in the business, Neville Southall. Missed 1986 final with an ankle injury, but played here in 84 and 85. And certainly he's won many games this season for Everton. He's been in tremendous form, the Welsh international goalkeeper. Ball just below us, Ratcliffe in a left-back position. A long ball deep inside the Liverpool half. Sharp and Hansen battle together. Hansen comes away with it. Starts to move forward. Deceptively languid player, Hansen. Nice ball to Whelan. Whelan's 5 yards inside the Everton half. Barnes has got it. Drops the shoulder. Then just stabs the ball inside to Staunton, the fullback. Staunton square to Whelan. Typical Liverpool possession stuff, this. McMahon holds it. Wide. Nicol will back him up. 5 yards in from the near touchline on this green Wembley turf this afternoon. 1-0 to Liverpool. McMahon square. Whelan waits for it. He's got a lot of space. Barnes, Jakeson Barnes, and he finds Barnes through the gap. Cross comes in just ahead of Aldridge. And the ball will, I think, just run over the line for a goal kick. A glorious build-up again. Barnes saw it, was through like a flash. Scott, the cross came over, and about 3 yards ahead of John Aldridge.
Yes, what happened there, Nevin came back to defend, and he got in the way of Neil MacDonald, and consequently what happened was, when Whelan knocked the ball through the space on the inside of what should have been the fullback, Nevin didn't react and Barnes did. And there's a lovely little ball across the 6-yard box. I was looking for John Aldridge there, but it was just beyond him, so a bit of an escape there for Everton.
But it was Aldridge who did score the 1 goal so far this afternoon. He scored it after 4 minutes, after a lovely piece of work by Steve McMahon, who's been so vital to the Liverpool machine this season. Sharp chests the ball down, halfway inside the Liverpool half, shrugs off the challenge from McMahon, square to Vandenhauer, the fullback. Vandenhauer runs away from Houghton. The cross comes in from him. The header comes in wide in the end. And Sharp, again, who's so dangerous in the air, headed that one a couple of yards wide. But that was a good cross coming in when it mattered. And Sharp was there. He's already got 3 cup goals. He couldn't get one there.
Yes, so now I make that, 27 minutes gone, and that's what I call the first real effort from Everton at goal, the first real threat. I thought, well, something might have happened. They've had a lot of possession up to the edge of the area, but it's broken down. At least the cross was fairly accurate there, although it was coming in with Vandenhauer's right foot from the left-hand side. Difficult ball for Sharp to head. It went past the post.
Whelan has possession inside the centre circle. McMahon out to Staunton. Staunton immediately feeds Barnes. Nevin comes back to act as a defender, but Barnes is running away from Nevin, and he's gone outside McDonald as well, but it's gone too far for him, I think. And indeed, McDonald has to hurdle over all the photographers, and it's still 1-0 to Liverpool.
Yes, it's nice to see Nevin being prepared to work all the way back, but I think really he should be conserving his energy for getting forward and supporting Sharp and Cotty. I think Everton need him up here. And McDonald started quite well, I think, at full-back. He's not, I wouldn't say he's a stranger to the position, but he's only been in it a short while, and I think he's coped quite well. I think if I was Colin Harvey, I'd be saying, push Nevin forward.
to the ball, and that's offside. You may have heard the whistle in the background. It was read well by Sheedy, chipped it forward, but Cotty was probably a yard or two offside from where we sit, high up over the halfway line. And we're just coming up to half an hour on the watch in the first half here at Wembley in the 1989 FA Cup final. And Liverpool lead by 1-0, and their goal scorers in possession now. Aldridge, Beardsley, straight back to Houghton. Houghton twists and turns and still holds possession, plays it through the gap. Aldridge is there, and he shoots, and it goes wide. And Everton were yawning open there, that defence.
Yes, and what's happening? I've been trying to understand, actually, Peter, why, when the ball knocks forward over the back four, why Liverpool have got this space, and suddenly it just dropped on me there, that Aldridge came out from the centre field when the ball was knocked over the top of Van den Hauwe, the left full-back. He came out on this side, and Ratcliffe or Watson didn't come with him. They left him, they're holding the central defensive positions, and they've left him to pick up what was a free ball, which started to move off. One of them's got to come out with him.
Sheedy feeds Cotty. Cotty square, bad ball. Cut out by Whelan, who plays it sensibly into space. And waiting for it is Ray Houghton, and he'll play it back to Grobbelaar. And Grobbelaar will take plenty of time. It's not a day to be hurrying around if it's not necessary. Very, very warm down there. And Liverpool lead by 1-0 after what's been a traumatic month for them. And still in, of course, very much in their sights, the Championship, with West Ham at Anfield next Tuesday, and then the big one, undoubtedly, although they're all big ones at this time of the season, but the big one on Friday against Arsenal again at Anfield. They never really stop, Liverpool, as Everton take the throw, and they've played safe by playing it back, and he goes all the way back in the end from Watson to that man Neville Southall. And Southall, like his opposite number Grobbelaar, not being hurried, bounces the ball a couple of times, and one of those stockings has now gone round his ankles. He much prefers it that way. And a little flick on by Pat Nevin. And Cotty is challenged and fouled at the same time. Alan Hansen wasn't very happy with that decision, but Joe Worrell was. And a good, strong, firm referee, Joe Worrell. Now then, there may be a little danger here for Liverpool. The free kick is about 12 yards outside the Liverpool penalty area. To the right as Everton look at it. And Bracewell's there and Stevens there, and the referee is making sure that everything's right, and the wall of 4 Liverpool players is the necessary number of yards back. But it's a 5th now because McMahon has joined on the end of it. Whistle goes for the free kick to be taken. Bracewell's got his back, and in the end the shot comes in from Sheedy, that famous left foot, but it was not very good on that occasion, and the ball rebounds out to McDonald, the fullback, who's done well to go forward. Cross comes in once more. McMahon heads the ball away. Everton still have the possession though. Van den Hauwe is the man in possession. Plays it square. Bracewell waits for it. The cross comes in from Bracewell, and again it's headed forward. Grobbelaar is there. Shot again, won the ball in the air from Steve Nicol. But there wasn't really too much power, and Grobbelaar wasn't really being tested there. And again, he bounces the ball once or twice, and those luminous green gloves of his makes his hands look about 2 feet square. They probably do to an attacker too. And remember, Grobbelaar's not been on a losing Liverpool side this season, out of the game with the meningitis, and then couldn't get his place back with Mike Cooper proving a very good substitute. But now he's back in, and his experience is there for all to see. McMahon, just inside his own half. McMahon. Long ball forward to Aldridge. Read well again by McDonald. As Jimmy Armfield was saying, he's played very well. McDonald in that right back position so far for Everton, but they still trail by 1-0. The left back Van den Hauwe, that well-known Belgian-Welsh international, square to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe, captain of the Welsh team, out to McDonald. McDonald just plays it down off his thigh, plays it forward once more, and Sharp shields the ball well, plays it to Cotty. Hansen's there as well, and Hansen runs away from Cotty, feinted to give it back to Grobbelaar, and then went the other way in the end. Thinking player Alan Hansen. Long ball almost found Beardsley. Watson was underneath it for Everton, but it drops to Barnes, and Barnes runs into the centre circle, skips away from Stephen, and he can't play it through the gap, and Barnes in the end is brought down, and Ratcliffe says he didn't, but he did. Free kick to Liverpool.
I don't think there's any question about that being a free kick. Barnes there was, he ran all of 40 yards with the ball. He was starting to look threatening, and if Ratcliffe hadn't brought him down there, he would have been in. I think Ratcliffe's very fortunate he hasn't got a yellow card there off Joe Worrell.
Yes, Ratcliffe caught him about thigh high, really. He's all right, Barnes, and so it's a free kick at that end. All right, as we look down, 10 yards or so outside the Everton penalty. Barnes hits it, and in the end it's a couple of yards wide, but we've seen Barnes score with shots from edge.
Yes. It's very competitive though, Peter, isn't it? With 34 minutes apiece, hasn't dropped too much. It has dropped a little bit in the last 3 or 4 minutes, but not dropped very much at all. The players are to be commended on their approach, I think, in this first half hour. It's been very entertaining.
It's still, though, 1-0 to Liverpool. John Aldridge after just 4 minutes. Barnes, a little bit too far forward there for Beardsley. Again played for, it's a bad one too. And Aldridge is there, and Southall did very, very well indeed. Unfortunately for Everton, Southall's tall, because that was really a free run and a free hit for Aldridge. Whistle goes, free kick this time for Everton. It's halfway inside the Liverpool half to the left. And Sheedy will spot it up carefully. And he's got Van den Haar wandering in on his left if he wants to use him. And he's got the other full-back, McDonald, wandering on the right. He feeds McDonald. Little cross comes in from him. Sharp with a header. Oof. And that was high with the boot. I'm sure it was just one of those things. I think Stephen saw his chance there, Jim. He didn't realise that the Liverpool player was there.
Yes, I think what it was knocked back in. And it was Watson who tried a scissor kick. And I can't see the Liverpool player is who got the knock there. I think it's Ablett, is it? Anyway, he came in to head the ball. Watson, I think, there's no intent at all. He just tried to scissor kick it. And it is Ablett, isn't it? Yes. And he was quite brave. He put his head there. That's what defenders have to do, Peter. I've had to do that a few times, I tell you.
Anyway, he's going to be all right, I hope. He's having a sponge on the head, just shaking his head, I can see. And the sponge from Roy Evans will make all the difference. A little bit of magic from him. And Grobbelaar makes sure everything's all right. Roy Evans walks off the pitch in his Liverpool tracksuit. Ablett's all right again. Had a very good season as young Gary Ablett. Solid and reliable. And he's played well at a time, you may remember, when 3 or 4 key Liverpool defenders were out through injury. It was when they wobbled a little bit. At one stage seemed to be way, way out of contention. And here they are now in the driving seat for the championship. And they're 1-0 up in the FA Cup. And they're looking to become the first side to win the Cup and League double twice. That's Liverpool for you. Van den Haar, Sharp, lays it back. And Sheedy did well to keep that one in play. On to Sharp once more. Bracewell back to Van den Haar on the halfway line. And they keep nice control there, but they haven't really made much headway. Sharp has to indeed play it back to Ratcliffe. Whelan with the header. Houghton, and that's offside against Aldridge. Watson, I think, had covered in any case, just to be certain, but Aldridge was a couple of yards offside.
36 minutes gone, Peter, and the game has really not gone as I thought it would. I thought Liverpool would have a lot of the possession in the centre of the field. I thought Everton would be playing, more on the break, and it seems to have gone the other way. Everton have had a lot of possession, seem to be going nowhere, and Liverpool suddenly strike.
Houghton, bad ball from Houghton, that though, because there was some intelligent running by both Aldridge and by Beardsley, and it was way ahead of both of them. So Bracewell will feed Stephen. Stephen chops the ball out to the left, looking for Cottee. Cottee and Hansen together, and Hansen wins the ball. Cottee feeling that he'd been fouled there, but Joe Waddle doesn't agree. Back to Grobbelaar, who bowls the ball out to the far side to Neil McDonald. I beg his pardon, to Steve Staunton. Staunton square to Barnes. Barnes is deep inside his own half at the moment, and then starts to move forward, and then just stabs it square. McMahon finds Whelan inside the centre circle, who starts to move forward. There's a nice little ball wide to Nicol. Nicol in an outside right position. Almost got it through the gap, looking for Ray Houghton. Headed away well by Van den Haar. Corner then to Liverpool, with 7.5 minutes of the first half remaining of the 1989 Cup final here at Wembley. 1-0 to Liverpool. Corner short, Nicol. And he'll find Whelan square. Whelan plays it through the gap. Houghton's there. Houghton going down the line. The cross comes in. Headed away well, though. Still on the edge of the area. The shot comes in the end, was about a foot wide, I think. I didn't think that Southall realised how close that was coming in there from Stevie Nicol. It does go wide. Still 1-0 to Liverpool.
It's amazing, Peter, that I've just been counting up. Everton really have had a lot of possession. Just a couple of efforts. Only one really of any significance. Header from Sharp for me that went past the post. Liverpool haven't had as much possession at all, and they've had 5 attempts at goal, and 3 of them have been very close. Amazing, isn't it?
As the ball will run into touch on the far side, Staunton making sure that Neverton couldn't get on with it. So Liverpool leading here by 1-0. John Aldridge after 4 minutes. Still no score in the Scottish Cup final up at Hampden Park. Still Rangers 0, Celtic 0, with a little less than 6 minutes to go up there at Hampden. Here we have got exactly 6 minutes at Wembley Stadium this hot, high summer afternoon, as the ball is bowled out by Grobbelaar. Nicol stoops low to head the ball into the path of Houghton. Houghton Well, the idea was right, but the accuracy was missing, and McDonald was able to cut the ball out before it got to Barnes, which is what Houghton was trying for. Everton again regroup. They play it across the back four, and Vanden Hauwe sees Houghton coming in, takes no chances, plays a nice, safe, simple ball back to Southall, who in turn claps Vanden Hauwe for that. And the ball is again aimed long for Sharp. Hansen this time wins it in the air, but it's stabbed to the left. Vanden Hauwe again making some good runs down that left touchline for Everton. Gives it back to Sheedy, the man who fed him a moment ago. Square, Bracewell, right foot from Bracewell, edge of the Liverpool area, and again they regroup well. And Ablett heading the ball down to Nicol, who came round the back there to make sure. And Houghton slows it down and then just almost lets it trickle back to Grobbelaar. And Grobbelaar again bowling it out to Staunton, the Irishman, to Barnes, the English international. Barnes square, and he'll find McMahon, once an Everton player himself, before he moved on to Villa Park. Nicol, Houghton, back to Nicol. A little bit tired possibly there from Houghton, and he made Nicol go back, which he does. Then under no real threat or pressure. Hansen, Ablett, just outside his own penalty area, keeps it going out to the left. And again, Staunton waits. Comes from the club that's produced so many good players, Dundalk, one of the famous little Irish clubs. And he's done so well, Steve Staunton, since he's come into the side. Hansen, with 4.5 minutes to half-time. Liverpool quite prepared now to slow it all down. The second 45 minutes could be an extreme physical test for these players, because it is very, very warm, as we've been saying since we were on the air at 1:30 this afternoon. Long clearance from Grobbelaar. Houghton gets underneath it. Aldridge didn't get it right, though. Comes off Bracewell. Ball breaks loose to Beardsley, and Beardsley is surely fouled. And he is by Stephen, who accepts that fact. One England international to another. So the free kick to Liverpool is about halfway inside the Everton half and almost centre field. McMahon is there, and he takes the free kick himself and plays it square to Staunton. And Staunton left-footed across the area. Aldridge with the header, and that was offside, I think, against Aldridge once more. Got the header in and was trying to knock it down into the path of Peter Beardsley.
I suppose Beardsley really can't get into the game as I know he can play. He's had a tremendous season, running at people from the deep. He just can't get into it at all. And it's the same at the other end with Cottee. His understanding with Sharp this season, it hasn't quite come off, I don't think. He's another one who's struggling to get into it here.
And I just heard from Hampden Park, Joe Miller's put Celtic in the lead there. Rangers 0, Celtic 1 with a couple of minutes to go to half-time. It's the same scoreline here at Wembley. It's Liverpool 1, Everton 0. Nevin, though, who was very good in the first 10 minutes, seems to have faded a little bit, simply because he hasn't been getting good service in the last 20 minutes or so. And Everton in the end have to play it back through their defensive ranks. Bracewell will come back to pick the ball up, but he's a long, long way still inside his own half. And then turns away and still holds it. And then plays it with that right foot. Again, Ablett beats Sharp in the air. And Sharp looking a bit dispirited there, because he won everything in the first 20 minutes, when Everton certainly looked, if anything, the sharper side, if you pardon the pun. As Houghton picks it up, turns, swivels away. Down the Liverpool right. Houghton holds. Cross, Beardsley. Beardsley goes himself. Can't get through the defensive wall of Everton, but comes away and does well to win it, and then he's lost it to Sheedy. Sheedy is dangerously close to his own goal line, stands on the ball, and in the end it goes into a crowd of photographers once more, and it'll go Everton's way. And with now 2 minutes and 36 seconds by my watch to go, it's Liverpool 1, Everton 0.
I think a bit of fatigue creeping in now, Peter. It is very warm for the players, and it has slowed in the last few minutes. It's been noticeable when both teams have had the ball at the back, they've been content to knock it across and even give it back to the goalkeeper, as Liverpool did after about 6 or 7 passes.
The ball is just inside the Everton half. It's cleared now by Vanden Hauwe, but it's just a long, rather hopeful ball, that, and certainly Jenny Cottee was within 15 yards of it, and he was the only Everton striker up there, and Everton have no trouble at all in regrouping. Aldridge is tackled well, though, by Watson. The ball is crossed. Cottee goes for it. Grobbelaar's there. Has to just fall down to his right as Cottee came in. Little figure of Tony Cottee. An up-and-down season since Everton played 2.2 million, was it, for him against West Ham. Scored in the opening seconds, you may remember, of his first game, but he's been a little bit up and down. And there he was perhaps close to a chance, but Grobbelaar read it, and in the end was there a good couple of seconds before Cottee. McDonald again pumping it in high. Grobbelaar's there, and he's lost the ball, and Sharp is there, and the net is empty, and Sheedy's there. Sheedy with a cross, and Hansen's there, and that was clearly a mistake by Grobbelaar.
It was by Sheedy as well. Great chance of the ball that had been chipped onto the back post. you know, he chose to have a go himself there from an awkward angle, and Hansen blocked it very well. He took the right position, Hansen, perfectly. When that ball came in there, I thought if Sheedy had chipped it to the back post, there would have been real problems for Liverpool. It's a bit of a let-off, that.
As Watson plays it square to McDonald. Everton now going forward here in the dying minute of the first half. Nevin, little flick ball back to Watson, who stayed up in an advanced row. Little flick ball from Stephen. Ablett heads the ball away. Whelan, with lots of composure, plays it straight back to the man he's looking at. That's Bruce Grobbelaar. And that certainly was a mistake. It was a half-hearted jump, really, by Grobbelaar, it seemed to me. And you don't do that with a fellow like Graham Sharp. He lost the ball. He was flapping around all over the shop. The net was empty. And Sheedy, in the end, didn't do it right. Out to Staunton for Liverpool. A couple of yards in from the far touchline. Long ball from Staunton. Aldridge underneath it. Ratcliffe beats him in the air. Aldridge goes back for a second bite. Can't get it there because Sheedy's got it. And then he loses it. And McMahon will play it to Barnes. And Barnes will reverse the ball out here. And Sharp did very well there. Came back and prevented that ball going out to Stevie Nicol, who can make dangerous runs down the right for Liverpool. Van den Hauwe. And then flicks the ball forward. Goes over Hansen, but also goes over Cottee. And Ablett, under no threat again, is able just to touch it back to Grobbelaar. Out again to Staunton. And Staunton will hold it. Bright young talent of the Irishman. And played square to Ablett, McMahon, and McMahon right to Nicol, and Nicol forward to Houghton. Houghton, little busy figure again. Houghton with a cross, looking for Aldridge. And again, Watson was there. Lovely cross. Aldridge there. Good covering by Everton.
There's a great header that by Watson. There really was danger there. I thought when the ball was delivered by Houghton, I thought it looked like goal number 2. Watson did very well, running back towards his own goal. It's a great clearance, that. Everton can't afford to lose anything now. Coming up to the half-time, it's crucial time. They must sit still at the back.
And it is half-time, and the stand-up at Hampden Park, and that is the score. The latest one we gave you a moment ago is the
second half gets underway, and in shorts as well. Spectacular afternoon. Liverpool in the second half, attacking the tunnel, playing from right to left, and Liverpool started with the ball. Ablett edge of the penalty area.
Apologise for the technical quality at the moment from Wembley. We're trying to fix it, but for the time being, let's go back there and let's hope the line does improve.
And John Aldridge, the goal scorer after 4 minutes. Everton, Neville Southall, Neil MacDonald, Kevin Ratcliffe, Dave Watson, Pat Van den Hauwe, Pat Nevin, Trevor Stephen, Paul Bracewell and Kevin Sheedy, and Graham Sharp and Tony Cottee are the forward men for Everton. The substitutes for Everton, Stuart McCall and Ian Wilson. One of those two will surely come on, and for Liverpool, Barry Vedison and Ian Rush. Whistle goes for the first time in the second half from the referee Joe Worrell, supported today by Mike Peck of Kendal, Arthur Smith from the Midlands from Rubery. And he's given, has Mr. Worrell, a free kick to Liverpool, 10 yards inside the Everton half. Hansen takes it, it falls away from McDonald, the right back, and Barnes on the left, and McDonald, not terribly gracefully, goes to challenge John Barnes, and a clear foul from McDonald, rather unnecessary as well. And there wasn't really a position of danger at that time when McDonald made the tackle, but now there is, because Barnes just a yard or two outside the penalty area, shaping up to take a free kick on the Liverpool left. That's the near side. He's got Steve Staunton just behind him as well. Hansen stays back. Ablett stays back. Liverpool protecting what they've got here, looking after Cottee and Sharp, those two central defenders. But Whelan is there in the area as Barnes crosses. Van den Hauwe heads it away. It falls to McMahon, 20 yards out. McMahon plays it square to Houghton. Edge of the area, on the right. Houghton with his left foot, trying to work it in for Beardsley and Aldridge. But it's offside. Liverpool a bit slow there coming back. A sign again perhaps of the heat. Free kick to Everton. Neville Southall to take it. And for the first time in the second half, here's Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, Neil MacDonald was a bit impetuous there. I think he had a sight of the ball, and I don't think there was any intent. It was just a wild tackle, really. I think he wanted to make, shall we say, prove a point to John Barnes early in the half. He's done reasonably well against Barnes in the first half, because Barnes can be a lethal player, really. He's possibly the best talent we have as a forward player in this country when he's on his game. And so MacDonald's done quite well.
Two substitutes, both of them Scottish internationals from Everton, are warming up. Stuart McCall, the ginger-haired player, number 14. Ian Wilson still got his tracksuit top on, surprisingly. He must be hot. He's down there as well. So perhaps they might come in to the game shortly. In the meantime, Liverpool in the centre circle, attacking the goal, remember, away to the left. That's where all their fans are congregated in the sunshine down there, getting suntans. Liverpool leading 1-0. McMahon, again, down the left-hand side now. Steve Staunton, he's got Barnes on the outside, and the plays that far too far in front of John Barnes. No way that the England player was going to get to that one. And it's going to be an Everton goal kick. And because of the heat, Jimmy, because of the fact that it's going to be a grueling game, there's so much more important to get that early goal as well.
It's important when the heat's like this, Mike. You know, I've played at Wembley when it's, you know, this time of the year and in June and times like, you know, it's when it's been really hot. It's been in the 80s and there's no air. There's not much air. It's difficult for players, but I think what they do is a tendency to give the ball away. They're a bit sloppy, you know, but I think the important thing more than anything else, not just obviously to get the goal, is to make your passes accurate so the other fellow doesn't have to set off after it, you know, so he can conserve his energy. A good pass is one that's delivered well in advantage of the chap who's going to receive it.
Well, it was McMahon that made the main pass to set up Aldridge for the goal after 4 minutes as Everton tried to avert a corner kick, and I don't think Watson's done that. He didn't get it right there. He tried to work it back to Neville Southall, but he didn't manage to find the goalkeeper. And it's going to be a corner kick to Liverpool down the right-hand side. Ray Houghton to take it short and gives it to Steve Nicol. Nicol trying to work away towards the penalty area, but has to give it back to Houghton because there are two men in blue. And Liverpool happily go back all the way to the halfway line to number 6, Alan Hansen. Hansen, long ball forward. Aldridge trying to flick it on. Can't get above Watson, though. Collected by Barnes, 25 yards out. Delicate chip from Barnes. John Aldridge. Aldridge goes down. Neville Southall comes out, takes it away from his centre-half, and Everton have Nevin playing on the left-hand side, interestingly now. Far side of the field. Pat Nevin, who played in the first half mostly down the right. Works the ball into the centre circle. Bracewell's crowded out, and Liverpool are threaded through to Beardsley. Beardsley's in the area. Can he finish? No, he's saved by Southall's feet. Bracewell goes in to try and help because it was his error initially which allowed Liverpool to go through. Bracewell coming back to do well in the end there, but Beardsley denied by Neville Southall's feet when it looked as if he might be on the way to scoring for Liverpool. Almost identical time in the second half that they scored in the first half. Neville Southall keeps Everton in the final, Jim.
Sorry, Mike. Crucial moment that I thought it was, as you say, it was there in midfield and Kevin Ratcliffe was never going to get back. Good save by Southall.
Now Liverpool again, Beardsley into the side netting. Oh, and I think one or two people actually on the far side, I'm not sure what their angle's like from there. They saw the net billow and maybe they thought that had crept in, but Neville Southall didn't actually dive for it. Beardsley into the side netting. So Beardsley involved twice in about 90 seconds there, Jimmy.
Yes, it was actually a poor finish that for Beardsley, because what he did, he came in on the right-hand side and I thought he had a great chance and he hit it with his left foot and he didn't quite get hold of it and it scrambled past the post and got into the side netting. So a couple of let-offs there for Everton in the first few minutes.
6 minutes gone in the second half of the Cup final. Liverpool 1, Everton 0, and it's been like that ever since the 4th minute when John Aldridge scored altogether his 30th goal of the season. A lovely right foot finish from about 15 yards out. The Footballer of the Year, Steve Nicol, began it all inside his half. His chip found McMahon, and McMahon played a wonderful ball through to take out Ratcliffe and Watson. And Aldridge was unmarked and instinctively hit it with his right foot into the top corner. And Liverpool take the lead. Magnificent strike from Aldridge. Might have even been his first touch of the game. Aldridge, remember, the man who missed the penalty for Liverpool in last year's final against Wimbledon. He's redeemed it, and Everton have got a free kick. McDonald takes it high, and Graham Sharp climbs literally onto Alan Hansen's shoulders, and that was an easy decision for Joe Worrell to make. That's a free kick to Liverpool. Actually, Jimmy, you've been talking about the temperature. You played many, many times here, of course, at Wembley for England. Though in those days, perhaps it might have been maybe not as warm as now because it was open then, the stadium, wasn't it? We didn't have the stands here keeping the heat in.
Not all the time I played. But it was, obviously. But I can remember playing against Mexico here at the beginning of June. And I mean, it was a brighter day than today, but I've just heard that the temperature down on the touchline is 90 degrees. Now, that's a piece of paper that's been handed to me, so we can take that as right down on the touchline. It is warmer down there, I can tell you. You know, I've been on this touchline and felt it. So the players really have coped particularly well. The important thing, as I said, is to make your passes count.
Well, Jimmy, talking about playing against Mexico, it's almost a Mexican type of climate we have here. Hot and humid this afternoon. and Everton trying to do something about the fact that they're trailing here by 1-0, and Trevor Steven plays the ball nicely 20 yards to the far side of the field. Vanden Hauwe with his left foot, it's long and it's very wide, and it really is not what is required. Tony Cottee and Graham Sharp looking very frustrated. That was an opportunity again from Everton, and it goes begging.
That's what's the difference of the two teams, isn't it, so far? One team's possession is better, their passing is more accurate. They've made one decisive moment. There could have been two, well, possibly three if you count this one of Beers that's just gone on as well. Everton doing very well with the ball up to that final moment. I said that earlier in the first half, and it's just happened again. They've had two raids so far, and both times it's been given away.
Graham Sharp, the danger man for Everton, lays it off nicely, tucks it through for Trevor Steven. Trevor Steven is accelerating very, very well there. It looked like Alan Hansen might be required to make the tackle, but Steve Staunton it was who dispossessed Trevor Steven. And now Liverpool countering again. Ray Houghton perhaps needs a bit of support though, Houghton, as he picks it up and goes halfway inside the Everton half. Decides to come to the near side and doesn't get it right at all. It's right onto the head of Neil McDonald, the fullback. And Neville Southall is making a lot of gestures down there inside the penalty area. He's really trying to whip up the team, almost playing as the captain of the side at the moment, Southall, as he clears downfield, and Steve Nicol comes towards the ball and was always going to win that one. Very determined play from Nicol, and as a result of that, it goes almost ping-pong fashion straight back again to the Welsh international goalkeeper, Neville Southall. Southall's clearance veers towards the near side this time. It's flicked on looking for Cottee. Cottee hasn't really had a chance at all to get into this game, and he couldn't then either, because Alan Hansen wraps the long leg around it and works it back to Bruce Grobbelaar, who didn't really have a problem. He didn't really have a difficult moment, apart from when he came out and didn't get to a cross in the first half. He certainly didn't have any stinking shots to save. And at the moment, the ball is inside his half, just down below on the left-hand side. But Staunton couldn't keep it in. And it's going to be an Everton throw-in. And the Everton crowd away to my right here, just sensing that perhaps the team needs a little bit of help now, 10 minutes into the second half, trailing by 1-0, making themselves heard, and Everton take the throw. Back to Dave Watson, just inside the Everton half, on this right-hand side, the near side. Long, high ball. Sharp flicks it down. Bracewell tries to get into the hole there, but McMahon beats him. Barnes dwells on it, though. Everton win it back again. Very crowded, though. Trevor Steven tries to make some space for himself, but then turns straight into trouble. And Houghton's taken it away from him. Gives it to Nicol, and Nicol's got a lot of space to work in over on the far side. He's darting down the right, going inside and outside. Inside now, looking for Beardsley. And the pass wasn't accurate. And I must say it is travelling from side to side at the moment. Nevin, who's now coming towards the near side. Cottee just gets away from Hansen for a moment. Cottee goes for the return ball. He's got Ablett to beat now. Cottee, number 10, wide on the right, near side for Everton. Gives it back to McDonald. McDonald's cross is not a good one, though. Houghton is back working well in the air for Liverpool. And Barnes sets off. Left-hand side, near side, elbows pumping, driving hard into the Everton half. Watson is backing off Barnes. Barnes might go all the way here, trying to get in the area. Hits it with his left foot, just wide of Southall's left-hand post. And that really almost one of the spectacular goals of all time in Wembley finals. Barnes just wide, Southall's thrown out and taken the kick immediately as Everton try to springboard back.
Yes, great run by Barnes. First time, though, that McDonald has not been goal-side when he's picked up possession of the ball. McDonald had come forward trying to support Cottee and was caught out.
Cottee now, as Everton come back. Fair dues, they're really making this into a final, Everton. They trail 1-0. Nevin on the left edge of the penalty area. Can't get the height with the cross. McMahon heads it away. Only as far as Vanden Hauwe, 25 yards from the Liverpool goal. Grobbelaar is crouching, anticipating perhaps having to make a save, but Trevor Steven couldn't find Pat Nevin on the left, and as anticipated, Everton's assistant manager Terry Darracott down below comes forward with the first of the two substitutes, Stuart McCall, the man that Colin Harvey bought from Bradford City, the man who knocked out the Holders Wimbledon in the quarter-final. He's going to come on, I think, for Graham Sharp, or perhaps Paul Bracewell. Can't believe they'd put a midfield player on for a striker, especially as Sharp is the man that Liverpool fear. Bracewell will come off, and McCall to come on in just a few moments. Indeed, he can come on now, I think, because there's a foul inside the Everton half. Barnes has been fouled. Liverpool take the free kick. They've taken it quickly, though, so McCall can't come on. And Staunton has the ball on the near side. Whelan accelerates as he gets the pass from Staunton. Liverpool playing it through a little triangle down the near side, and then into the centre circle for Hansen. Hansen, slow build-up from the back for Beardsley. Beardsley pushes it quickly wide to Nicol on the right, but as Beardsley parted with that, he was fouled. And although Liverpool kept possession, the referee was committed to the whistle. Free kick to Liverpool, and now McCall to come on for Bracewell. And perhaps, Jimmy, with 13 minutes gone in the second half, Bracewell, of course, has had a long layoff from the game, hasn't he? 2 years out of the game, nearly, with ankle trouble. So perhaps physically he might find a day like this very demanding.
Yes, I think he's done very well to come back here. He's had a terrific injury time. He's done very well, Paul Bracewell. I thought McCall actually would have been in the original 11. I thought he'd been in the squad to begin with. He started to play quite well towards the end of the season.
Right, McCall is on then, into midfield. Direct swap for Bracewell. And McMahon, the Liverpool midfield player, trying to play it through the gap for Barnes. Neville Southall's got it. And we're just hearing, and we're confirming for you, that Celtic lead Rangers 1-0 still. Same amount of time gone in the second half there, really. 15 minutes gone in Glasgow. Joe Miller getting the goal for Celtic. Rangers, remember, pushing hard for the treble. Here Liverpool have got a double on their minds. They're on their way to winning perhaps half of that, and then West Ham on Tuesday and Arsenal on Friday will decide the other part of it. Liverpool, though, only have the one goal in front. John Aldridge supplying it after 4 minutes, so they'll be pushing forward looking for a second. Everton countering. Sharp finds Cottee. Cottee going very hard towards the penalty area. There are 4 Liverpool players around Cottee, and Hansen it was who's been pulled up by Joe Worrell for the foul on the edge of the D. 20 yards from Liverpool's goal. Now, here really is a possibility for Everton, and we inevitably look, I suppose, towards Kevin Sheedy here. Thumped in many a good goal from free kicks. Everton's top scorer in the FA Cup. 4 times he's found the back of the net. Some crucial penalties earlier in the competition, and Sheedy immediately slotting the ball up. Very accurate with his left foot. Bruce Grobbelaar is demanding a wall of half a dozen there. Joe Worrell is demanding that they go back. And the Everton fans sing their song, and they anticipate an important moment. Sheedy hits the free kick straight into that wall. Sheedy goes in to try and push it through for Tony Cottee, and Liverpool's defence stands firm. Everton again sweep the ball in from the left. Van den Hauwe onto Ablett's head again, though not quite getting those crosses right. They're too near the Liverpool defenders. Everton again have space to work in. Kevin Ratcliffe, the captain, down the near side now for Pat Nevin. Ball in Nevin, and Nevin again. I noticed then, Jimmy, we'll have a word on that in a moment. I know Nevin have to beat Staunton then. He also had John Barnes coming back to look after him. So Liverpool really are working well to try and squeeze Nevin down this near side. Barnes coming back to help out Staunton, and from the throw-in, Everton now in the centre of the field, and Van den Hauwe's getting nowhere there. Didn't play it with a lot of conviction, and Steve Nicol tidies up, puts his foot on the ball, avoids the goalkeeper, gives it square to Hansen. I still think the goalkeeper might get this one, though. He does indeed, from McMahon. 1-0 to Liverpool.
Yes, Barnes was actually still back there, though, from the free kick that was taken by Sheedy after it had been blocked in the wall and come out. And by the time it had come out to Nevin, he was still in a defensive position. But it is right, they are trying to close them down all the time.
But now McCall has played a very poor ball, and Houghton's pounced on it. And that was one of McCall's first touches in this game, coming on, and it's handed the initiative to Liverpool. Beardsley weaving away into the area, just slightly overdoes it, though. And then, to be fair to McCall, having made the error, he was the man who came in to make the interception as Beardsley tried to thread a way through. And Everton regrouping again. And Kevin Ratcliffe, left-footed stuff from him into a no-man's land area, really. Didn't give little Nevin any chance at all down the near side. It's a throw to Liverpool. And again, it's that Staunton-Barnes combination. 16 minutes gone in the second half. Liverpool a little bit loose there, playing a back pass, playing Ablett into trouble inside the penalty area. Ablett does get it away, but Everton remain on the attack here as a result of that. Should have gone back quite comfortably, that one. But a little tension and a little nerve. And indeed, Liverpool, Ablett making the clearance, have been penalised. Everton have got a free kick. Now this is about 5 yards from the penalty area, on the right-hand side. A chance for Watson to go forward. A chance too, of course, for Sharp to show his aerial menace. The free kick is taken by Sheedy, and Grobbelaar palms it away. Hasn't got it away. McMahon blasts it towards the running track here. It's caught immaculately by Colin Harvey, I think, down there, the Everton manager, rugby style. And with a lot of urgency, throws it straight to his captain, Kevin Ratcliffe. Get on with it, he says. 17 minutes gone in the second half. Everton again, as Jimmy Armfield was saying at half-time, have had a lot of the possession here in this game. Liverpool, though, have the goal, and Aldridge was the man to do it for them. Again, Everton look towards Nevin, but they're not giving him any chance at all. They're bombarding him with high balls, and Steve Staunton's fair hair is getting up there, well above Pat Nevin. Everton again having the possession. McDonald lays it long and forward, looking for Sharp. Sharp flicks it on, Cottee tries to get it. Hansen's there, and Cottee has been penalised for a foul on Hansen, and that's a free kick to Liverpool.
Yes, he was backing in there. Joe Worrell was perfectly positioned, but just a few moments ago, Liverpool nearly made their own trouble with a back pass, which resulted in a free kick. They too, they will feel this heat. It was a bit careless, really. I think it was Staunton who played the first ball back, and they got themselves in trouble. And Ablett finished off having to give a free kick away.
18 minutes gone. Inevitably, the pace has slowed down here in the cauldron of Wembley, and Neville Southall's clearance downfield for Everton. Alan Hansen going in with Graham Sharp. The ball breaks to Pat Nevin. He can't take it, though. It comes back to McCall. McCall lays it well, accurately to Sheedy. Sheedy with the left foot to Cottee on the far post. Cottee heads it up in the air. Grobbelaar comes for it and eventually gets it. Palm of his hand, first of all, and then the catch. Not altogether convincing, but that's Bruce's style. He usually eventually holds on to it, and he's got it, and he waits now for Liverpool to retreat, and then hits it into the Everton half. Ratcliffe, Aldridge backheads it for Beardsley. Beardsley beaten by Watson, and Everton decide to push it back to Neville Southall for those long clearances, and Southall's clearance is long. It's Hansen against Sharp. Hansen just nudges it down, but Nevin's in there. Great tackle by Staunton. Oh, never took his eye off the ball there, and Barnes is back in business again on the left-hand side. Barnes already inside the Everton half. Nevin is running back to try and make the tackle. McDonald is there too. Barnes has been forced wide, and now he will need some support. Back with Staunton. And infield now to the captain, Whelan. Whelan and McMahon combine. McMahon goes to the far side of the field, knowing that Nicol will be in space. Nicol's got it now. Nicol halfway inside the Everton half. Going outside Sheedy now, working away towards the area. Gets the cross in, off an Everton back. McCall should clear. Ginger-haired player looking for Cottee, and Cottee's tumbled over by Hansen. Everton wanted to take the free kick quickly, but Joe Worrell wants them to take it from the spot where the offence was committed, and 20 minutes have gone in the second half, and Liverpool have that slender lead. John Aldridge after 4 minutes. Brilliant bit of finishing by the Republic of Ireland international. And the noise again picking up in the stadium. Perhaps the reason for that, the appearance of Ian Rush. Ian Rush is off his stool and he's warming up down there with Barry Venison. Could he be coming on for 25 minutes as Everton almost find a way through? Tony Cottee again giving it all he's got there in the penalty area, but he's not getting through Hansen and Ablett. And Liverpool again patiently from the back, looking to their little magnet there in midfield, McMahon, who turns it in with a lot of style to the far side to Houghton. Houghton on the halfway line, back again with McMahon. McMahon now to the near side, everybody involved. It comes to Barnes on the left-hand side. What's that, 9-10 passes? Back again now to Ablett. They don't quite get it right. They just put Ablett under a little bit of pressure there, but he managed to make the clearance. And that's about 15 passes now. Whelan to the far side to Nicol. And back again to Whelan, trying to prize an opening here. Whelan about 15-yard ball. Beardsley wanted too much time on it, and Stephen was back. Ian Rush, I think, is going to come on. He's crouching down there. He's limbering up. We still have here in this final 24 minutes to go. Barry Venison and Ian Rush loosening up at the moment. Will they both come on, or perhaps will Rush come on to try and score that second goal to win the final? The ball is with Nicol, deep inside the Liverpool half. Foot on the ball from him. Trading passes with Whelan. He wants to give it back, Nicol, to his goalkeeper, but Cottee's covering the angle. So Liverpool goes square, edge of the penalty area, and now into room on the near side for Steve Staunton, approaching the three-quarter mark in this final. Ian Rush perhaps poised to come on. The man, remember, who scored 19 Merseyside derby goals, level with Dixie Dean. Can he come on and score a record 20th and guarantee Liverpool win the trophy this year? McMahon inside the Everton half. Support coming in from Staunton. Liverpool teasing Everton at the moment, inviting them to come and get the ball. Without it, Everton are not going to win the cup. It's with Barnes now, 20 yards out. Chip from Barnes. Houghton makes a run over on the far side. Spectacular clearance by Van den Houw. Still in play. Van den Houw trying to find Barnes. Liverpool again. Constant possession. Nicol through the gap for Beardsley. Beardsley's there. Southall comes out. Watson takes it away from him. Van den Houw clears. McMahon over his shoulder, controls superbly, putting Liverpool back in the driving seat again. Staunton, big roar for Liverpool. Whelan to the far side for Nicol. Everton can't get outside their half at the moment, as dearly as they would like to. Nicol steams forward again. The ball, I think, will go out of play over on the far side. Sheedy is covering Nicol. Does well, Sheedy. Slides it back towards his own penalty area. Vanden Hauwe can't get it back because Aldridge is there. So Everton have to go the long way out of trouble. Long ball up towards the halfway line. Everton now might cross the halfway line. Nevin does do that. Finds McDonald down the right-hand side. McDonald is being covered by Staunton. Plays it infield to Watson. All the Everton players now inside the Liverpool half for a change. Sheedy right in the centre of midfield. Watson, the centre half, playing as a midfield player at the moment. But Everton are getting nowhere here. They're back inside their own half. Peter Jones, take us through to the final whistle, please.
As Kevin Radcliffe, the Everton captain, pumps the ball to the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Nicol will clear. And will it run into touch? It won't, because Staunton's done well. But all he can do is to pump it inside the Everton half to our left. Waiting for it is Watson. Touches the ball to McDonald. McDonald down the near touchline. Still 1-0 to Liverpool. And in the end, Abbott will play the ball off the legs of Nevin for a throw-in to Liverpool. That was some 5 minutes, Jimmy.
Yes, Liverpool, that was the best spell of possession we've had, I think, in the entire match so far. Everton were just chasing round. One excellent clearance by Vanden Hauwe. I don't know how he got to it, really. So, Everton have really got to pull themselves up now. There's been no significant move since McCall came on for Bracewell. The problem is all with Everton at the moment. That early strike, still counting, of course, from Aldridge. And they've got to go and chase the game in this heat. Liverpool are quite content for it to stay as it is.
1-0 in their favour. It's still 1-0 to Celtic in the Scottish Cup final at Hampden. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. But I'm told that Graham Souness has now come on for Rangers in place of Stuart Munro. So the old warrior is back to see if he can do anything about the scoreline. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Here at Wembley, Liverpool 1, Everton 0. The goal in the opening minutes, the 4th to be exact, from John Aldridge, his 30th of the season. And that man Aldridge is on the ball at the moment, does well to get it away from Stephen, plays it back once more to Staunton, turns away, back to Ablett, halfway inside his own half, gets space, finds Hansen. Hansen's being chased and harried by Sheedy. Still gets the ball out to Nicol, who's getting more and more runs now down that Liverpool right. Infield finds Houghton, little figure of Houghton, holds the ball, just slows it down a little bit. He's got McCall in front of him, still crosses it though to Barnes. Barnes on the left, tries the shot. Oh, great save by Southall. That took a deflection, in any case, from McDonald. And Southall, diving to his right, just turned that one away because that was swerving wickedly.
Great ball too from the right-hand side it was, and he took it superbly, Barnes. This tremendous raw talent he has. He just took it in his stride, hit it first time. It looked straight for the corner when it took the deflection. Excellent save by Southall.
As Barnes himself takes the corner short to Houghton, back to Barnes. Again slows it to walking pace. Angles it back to Houghton. Barnes, I didn't think could get hold of that one, and Barnes was doing a bit of pushing. It was an offside, says the linesman on the far side, as the ball was pushed through the gap by Houghton to Barnes. But that was an excellent save by Neville Southall. A reflex save from him. We were saying earlier, one of the best in the business. And he's waving urgently now to players to move downfield. We've had exactly 26 minutes of the second half. Still a very slender lead for Liverpool. And Everton have had so much possession during this game, which is not what a lot of the experts predicted. The finishing not quite so good. Let's see what Nevin can do. Cuts the ball square. Stephen, headed away by Hansen. Drops as far as Vanden Hauwe. Clips the ball again. Sheedy tries to get the shot in. Can't. Houghton's back to help out. It'll flick by Vanden Hauwe again. Edge of the air. Can't find Nevin. The shot is driven in by Stephen and comes out as far as McCall. And McCall will play it wide to McDonald. And McDonald's cross is chested down by McMahon, who is fouled in turn by Stuart McCall. They shake hands with each other. Free kick to Liverpool.
I don't know how Joe Worrell could sort that tackle out there. There was both of them flying into each other. He had a better view than me, but they both look quite a fair tackle to me. There's been one or two challenges. It's been noticeable, though, that the pace has slackened a little bit in the last few minutes. And obviously, that's why Kenny Dalglish has decided to make his substitution. And really, he must be a bit disappointed, really, mustn't he? He's got the goal that's separated the teams, and he's been taken off.
Well, mixed feelings, perhaps. Ian Ross, the Welsh international, had his luckless season in Juventus. He's back out there now. And John Aldridge, who scored the goal, frankly down there, doesn't look all too pleased. Kenny Dalglish is coming over and just tapping him on the back and saying, you got the goal and that goal may win us the cup. So Aldridge sits down and just takes his tie-up off and takes one of his boots off. And he's now going to watch the game for what is the last 17 minutes of the 1989 FA Cup final, with his team Liverpool leading by 1-0. Sharp wins the ball in the air. Can't find Cotty with the direction though. And Ablett's there to touch it wide. And Staunton again, left-footed. Underneath it is Watson. And Rush couldn't get his first touch. Perhaps he can. Oof. Well, Rush was running there. And Barnes tries to reach him. Watson stuck out a right boot and just stopped it. Again, Sharp, who's never stopped running. So dangerous and so difficult with his physical presence. And this time he can't get round two defenders. He's still coming back though. And he thinks he's won the corner. And so did Pat Nevin. But the linesman will have none of it. And runs away immediately, and it'll be a goal kick to Liverpool.
I think just the point about John Aldridge there, it's the first time I've seen him substitute and really looking a bit down about it. You know, and Kenny Dalglish actually got up and came across to try and pacify him, but I don't think he felt very comfortable about it.
Well, he's just gracefully taking a swig of water from the plastic bottle down there, and there's nothing he can do about it now, but he scored the goal, and who knows, that might be enough. Liverpool again in possession. Staunton just below us down the left. Cuts the ball square. Hansen will play to McMahon. McMahon inside the centre circle. Terrier of a player, McMahon. Back out to Staunton. Staunton back. Whelan. And back to Staunton. Possession stuff here, typically of Liverpool. McMahon refused to be hurried. Refused to be rushed. Plays it into a gap. In that gap is Whelan. Whelan's got Houghton outside him and Nicol. He chooses Houghton. Houghton will hold it. Nicol goes outside again down the right. Back to Whelan. Houghton finds McMahon, and McMahon keeps it going towards us. Staunton, that's about 8 passes Liverpool have put together. Now they don't though, because Pat Nevin nips in and takes it away for Everton. Sharp's come back to help him out. Plays it back once more to McDonald, the fullback. Sharp's there too. Stephen just inside the Liverpool half square. And not a good ball from Stephen. McCall did well to win it first time, and he's won it the second time. That's the substitute. Played back to Watson. Sharp again wins it in the air, but he wasn't being challenged there. He could have chested that one down and taken it with him. He wasn't to know. Ablett, inside the centre circle, danger for Everton again. Little chip over the top, and Rush is there, and Rush is on the edge of the area. Beautiful piece of tackling by Neil McDonald. That was superb, because Rush was in.
You're right, it must be an excellent cover. They're a bit unlucky there, Everton. Trevor Stevens' boot came off. That's where all the troubles came with there. And he's had to readjust his footwear. That's what gave them a problem. But what happened was there, when Rush went in, McDonald's got himself hurt there. Oh, he has. He's fallen down now.
Yep.
He got a real whack off Rush there. In fact, I thought Rush was late, because he wasn't going to get the ball.
There was a superb tackle, but he's in pain with his right ankle at the moment, Neil McDonald. He's down on the pitch. But that was typical of Ian Rush, quick and sharp. Some people say he still hasn't quite got the full sharpness before he had his year with Juventus, but he's still a useful player.
The thing is, though, when he's come on as a substitute, he's not the player he was, and it's no good saying he is. You know, people keep saying, well, you know, the point is he hasn't had his match practice, and you lose match sharpness. That's the thing you lose more than anything else.
Throw for Everton, does so, gets the return ball back from Nevin. Tross comes in, Whelan's lost it. McMahon covers, though, for Liverpool, and clears before Sharp can challenge him. Watson comes in, so does Rush, and the ball will go Liverpool's way. Still Liverpool 1, Everton 0. And Liverpool have the throw. Steve Staunton just trots forward another 5-6 yards, about 10 yards. So that he's almost immediately below our commentary position. A back header by Stephen wasn't quite what he intended, but Watson was there just to touch it back to Southall. Another long kick from the Everton and Wales goalkeeper. Ablett underneath it for Liverpool. McMahon's there. He's challenged by McCall. Ball drops awkwardly, but it's still belted away to safety by Ablett. It's still inside the half, though, and Rush fouling Watson. Free kick, and now Colin Harvey will use his last card, and Ian Wilson will come on for Everton.
It's from Ian Wilson here now.
McDonald with the free kick for Everton. It's inside the Liverpool penalty area. Jugglery there by Nevin. And I must say, from where I was sitting, it looked as if Nevin's jersey was being pulled then, but the referee's the man who counts. In the meantime, Stephen is there. Stephen tries a shot. Deflected off Whelan. Flicked away by Houghton. Van den Hauwe is in the central position, though. Plays it wide. The fullback McDonald's there for Everton. Pumps it straight back. Edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Hansen heads the ball away. Houghton plays it anywhere as long as it's wide. Wilson tries to get his first touch. Can't. Nicol is there. Van den Hauwe is there. Ball played infield. Wilson. McCall for Everton. Square to Stephen. Stephen has to drift away. Back towards his own goal. Van den Hauwe had to jump to keep that one in. But his header simply reached Houghton. Beardsley. And the ball is again laid forward, but that'll go into touch for a Liverpool throw. And just mentioning that one player, Jim, I think just almost underlining what you said in the first half. Peter hasn't really got into the game, has he?
Oh, sorry, Peter.
Peter Beardsley.
No, he's not really been the player that, I know he can be. I think he's a terrific player, Beardsley. He hasn't been able to get his runs in this left-hand side at the defence. That's what he's good at, when he's about 40 yards out running at people. In the last few minutes, though, Peter, the game's gone very competitive. Been a needle creeping in. Incident there between Nicol and Van den Hauwe. Change just came off the cog for a minute there.
A little more than 11 minutes of the 1989 FA Cup final remaining. Still Liverpool 1, Everton 0. John Aldridge after 4 minutes, who's now on the bench below us because Ian Rush has come on. Long clearance again from Southall. Sharp is underneath it, but Ablett's there to cover for Liverpool. Whelan. Houghton inside the centre circle, and then stabs the ball back to the left back. Staunton, square to Whelan. Straight ball from Whelan. Back to Ablett, just outside his own penalty area. And then he'll play it across that area to Grobbelaar. Grobbelaar will change direction by throwing the ball out to Nicol. And Nicol will, I think, play it back to Grobbelaar. And again, slowing it down as far as Liverpool are concerned. Attendance figure just been handed to me, 82,800 for the Merseyside final. As the ball is with one of those Merseyside giants, Liverpool in the shape of Steve Nicol. Nicol forward, a flick on by Rush, nobody there. Runs harmlessly back to Neville Southall. Made 3 or 4 excellent saves, the Everton goalkeeper. But Liverpool still have the goal. Nevin flicks away from Staunton. He's being challenged by Barnes, though. And Barnes beats Nevin, I think, by sheer physical strength there rather than anything else. Watson pumps it back. Hanson's underneath it. Beardsley chests it down to McMahon. McMahon onto Houghton, back to Beardsley inside the centre circle. Ball played out wide in space once more. Steve Nicol waits for it. Nicol will find Houghton, and Houghton plays it through the gap. Wasn't quite strong enough for Rush, though. And Radcliffe had covered well, and in the end, the ball goes back to Southall.
Isn't that the lowest attendance for an FA Cup final ever, Peter? At Wembley, it is, I think, almost certainly. But in the last 15 minutes, last 10 minutes, the game really has got a competitive edge to it now. It's all or nothing now. So it's not dissimilar to the league match we had 2 weeks ago between these two. The only difference is just been one flaw in Everton's defence in the period we've had so far. How many minutes have gone? 18, near enough. In that just one flaw where they didn't cover in the 4th minute and they've been punished for it. So far, Liverpool have not made a flaw at the back.
And it's still the same scoreline in the Scottish Cup final at Hampden. It's there still Rangers 0, Celtic 1. It's Liverpool 1, Everton 0 in the FA Cup final here at Wembley on a sweltering afternoon. Everton straining everything now in what is the last 8.5 minutes of goal. Sharp with a header! And Grobbelaar there. He had space there. For once, Hanscom and Ablett weren't covering Sharp. Got the header. Not really quite enough power and direction. They've gone another yard and it would have been up in the corner.
Yes, it would, but they've never yet had Grobbelaar off his feet. The saves he's had to make, they've all been what I call comfortable for a goalkeeper. I would expect a professional goalkeeper to save all the ones that he's saved so far. They've been, the header from Sharp there. It was a good save. It was held well. I've seen them dropped. I know that, but it was comfortable for a first division goalkeeper. Everton have not really had Grobbelaar off his feet this afternoon.
The ball is with that man, Grobbelaar. The ball touched back to him. And he'll take a little time, bounces it once. And then right out to the white line. It was 18-yard area. Long clearance, great sound, great noise here at Wembley. But Liverpool still have the slender lead. And Everton are throwing the lot at them now. They know the disappointment of defeat here. They won in 84 against Watford, but beaten by United in 85 and by Liverpool themselves in 86, of course. And again, I've heard so many players say Wembley Stadium is not the place for losers when it's all over. The sun shines on one team only, the winners. Well, is it going to be Liverpool? Is it going to be Everton? 8 minutes will decide it, or of course it could be extra time if Everton can pull one back. Nevin, down the line. Stephen, cross comes in from Stephen. Great save by Grobbelaar, but he's lost it again. And then clears as Wilson was coming in for the kill.
That's the first real moment of danger I think he's had. He had to really get off his feet there to try to get out to that cross. He did well to come out, but he didn't quite hold it. Lovely little ball from Nevin, reverse pass inside. Good cross from Stephen. Grobbelaar couldn't quite hold it. That's his first real threat to me.
As Everton have a free kick with Ian Rush offside, and Radcliffe, their captain, will take it left-footed, drops it just inside the Liverpool penalty area. Head on once again by Sharp, and then hooked forward by Stephen inside the Liverpool penalty area. The header comes in and it bobbles, and Grobbelaar says that'll do nicely. It bobbled off Nevin. It was going a foot wide. Grobbelaar let it go wide, knowing it was a goal kick to Liverpool.
Yes, there was an element of danger there too. When the ball was knocked into the box there, Sharp it was who won the header. He's won a few headers. Lots of them haven't dropped to advantage for Everton. That one dropped, in a fairly comfortable position. Nevin couldn't quite get round to it, so.
Grobbelaar, goal kick, thumps it. Just inside the Everton half, headed away by Van den Hauwe. Nichols waiting for it though. He's challenged by Cottee, gets away from him, and then stabs it infield to Hansen, and Hansen will hold it, and then turn and quietly play it back to Grobbelaar. It's in Liverpool's interest now to keep the possession, and we have got exactly 6 minutes by our watch remaining of this cup final of 1989, and still the John Aldridge goal, set up beautifully by McMahon after just 4 minutes, divides these two Merseyside sides. Barnes, well, he gets away from three, but he couldn't get away from the fourth. The fourth was Watson. Inside the Liverpool half, Wilson, square, Sharp, knocks it back, McCall, Nevin, blue shirt now, and Toddy Shorts on his left-hand side. It'll back heel from him, and it'll go to McDonald, the fullback. McDonald hoists it forward. Wilson looks for the header. Hansen's taller than him and higher. Stephen, Van den Hauwe down the left, hoiks the ball inside the area. The header comes in, and it's half cleared by Hansen, helped out by Nicol. And Grobbelaar, with that commanding voice, I've no doubt, behind them all. Rush wins the header, drops to Beardsley, just the two lone ones up front. Rush is going for it. Radcliffe will beat him, I think, and Radcliffe did well there as Rush came in for the challenge, and now Radcliffe's down on the ground. I think he's all right, picks himself up, and he just had that little bit of pace which mattered there. It was always going to be a 50-50 ball because Rush didn't get an awful lot of space there, but Radcliffe made absolutely certain. And the free kick's touched back to Southall, Van den Hauwe, and in what now is the last 5 minutes of the half, unless there's extra time, of course. I think that's the noise that will roll around Wembley Stadium. You'll never walk alone. Van den Hauwe for Everton. Tries to find McCall, beaten away by Peter Beardsley. But then it's dropped square to Watson. Watson still inside his own half. Stephen touches it to Nevin. Tight to the near touchline, the Everton right. Still has to hold it, the former Chelsea man. And stabbed forward. It's loose ball, though. Played forward by Watson. And then headed away by Ablett. McCall goes belting after it. Finds Wilson down the Everton left. Wilson challenged by Nicol, and Nicol wins the challenge. And then plays it intelligently off the legs of Wilson to win a goal kick for Liverpool.
Played well, Nicol, hasn't he, Peter? I think he's been a good choice as Footballer of the Year. I think he's done very well. And I was just looking when I came through here. The last four winners of the Footballer of the Year title have all finished up on the losing side. So he's going to break a jinx, isn't he, as well? But he's played very well. He comes forward with a lot of competence when he has the ball. He looks strong at the back. And he's comfortable when he gets in there half of the field as well.
Yes, good on and off the field. Steve Nicol, when he gave his little speech at the Football Writers' Dinner the other night, when he got his prize, he praised everybody in the Liverpool team except himself. Watson is trying to be an outside right these days. He doesn't get the ball, though, because Ablett, helped by Barnes, clears. Underneath it goes McDonald. And now the crowd... Beardsley's picked up a loose ball. Now then, can he do anything here? McMahon's going down the left for Liverpool. He's got Rush wide on the right. He's Beardsley staying behind. McMahon still holds it, then finds Beardsley, and Beardsley will lay it square into the path of Barnes, and there's always danger for the defenders with Barnes, but he decides to play an early ball back to Staunton. Staunton challenged by Cottee, and now he's challenged by Sharp, and in the end the ball goes loose, and it's picked up by Hansen, who sensibly just slows it all down. A little bit of madness there by Liverpool just for a second, and boos as Hansen, with 3 minutes to go, plays it back to Grobbelaar, and he won't be worried about the boos from the Evertonians, of course. They still lead 1-0.
Fatigue makes errors, Pete. It really does. Slight fatigue there showing in Liverpool. It should have gone forward. Beardsley's first pass made it awkward for Barnes.
Cottee going down the right for Everton. Cottee holds it, slides the ball square to Nevin. Nevin goes away from Staunton. Nevin going down the right fast. The cross comes in. Challenge off the shoulders of Ablett. Shouts for handball. It was never a handball. Back to Nevin, though. He's still going at the Liverpool defence. Cross comes in high to the far post, looking for sharp. Header comes in, going wide. And it came off a defender, I think, from Steve Nicol. Corner then to Everton.
Yes, it was Steve Nicol who saved the day. It was a nice little run by Nevin. Two little runs, in fact. The second one he got onto the back post. And it was Steve Nicol again who saved Liverpool. Good back post header.
2 minutes to go. 1-0 to Liverpool. But Everton have a corner. Far side down their left. Little triangle of shadow on that far side. And in comes the corner to the near post, looking for Sharp, and the ball, and shouts for handball. No, says the referee. It came off Nicol. I think it hit his arm, but there was no question of intent. Several of the Everton players, particularly Wilson, having a very strong word with Joe Waddle, the referee, but back it goes, and it's another corner. I'm sure that'll be a talking point tomorrow morning for the Evertonians if they lose. Here comes the corner, driven in low. Wilson tries the back header. And out it goes again to the far side, and Stephen will hold it, and then he put the cross in high, and it was wasted over the top, and he's very disappointed with himself.
Yes, we didn't have a very good view of that. We couldn't see whether it was handball or not from this position. There was a big appeal, and all the Evertonians who were facing the ball over there all stood up. So there must have been, something within reason, but the referee didn't see it. There's a bit of trouble now because we've got a spectator on the pitch. We can do without him, can't we? I think the point is, Peter, though, it's... Again, though, when it came out to Stephen the second time, after the incident, what happened was Stephen put the ball behind the goal, and that, to me, has been Everton's weakness today. The final pass has let them down. And one other point, too, is that, there's a lot of possession, but it's all been to feet, not much beyond defenders. That's been the other thing to me.
We're in the last minute of the game by our watch. Joe Waddle may add a little time on, but not very much. We've had only 2 stoppages that I can remember in the second half. Van den Hauwe plays it all the way back to Southall, a long clearance from him. And then it'll flick on. Everton have the possession. Sharp finds Nevin. Nevin on the edge of the area. Ball goes to Watson. He drives it there. And it's there. And Stuart McCall has equalised for Everton in what is the last 5 seconds of the half. Unbelievable stuff here. Nevin set it up. The cross came in. Grobbelaar saved it. And Stuart McCall hammered it into an empty net. Liverpool won, Everton won, and we're in now, I would have thought, extra time.
Well, that's incredible. I really couldn't see the goal coming, Peter. I must be honest, I couldn't see it coming. But in the last few minutes, the urgency's crept into it. And I don't know what all these people are doing on the pitch. They're going off. But it's the excitement of it, really. But when the ball came across, Grobbelaar got his right hand to it. There was a half chance for Nicol to get to it as it dropped. And he was just beaten to it. Paul just got there to it. Just got his foot there to it. So, well, that's amazing, really, isn't it? But full marks to Everton for the persistence. They've had a lot of possession. They've worked at it. And I wouldn't mind thinking that 1 or 2 of these Liverpool people think, by golly, we're going to get through another 30 minutes now in this heat.
Well, we've seen some fairly dramatic endings, Jim, to a cup final, I must say. They wouldn't come more dramatic than that. We did have a suspicion of a pitch invasion, I'll tell you, a minute ago while Jimmy was speaking, because, of course, there are no fences here, but it's all been settled, I'm glad to say. The stewards quickly got the ball back, and there's no signs at all of any trouble. And we're now deep into injury time here, and I see Joe Waddle looking at his linesman. Oh, Evertonians will remember this. 1-1. What a last 2 minutes. Wilson going down the left, challenged by Nicol.
Playing at right back, a right-footed player. Steve Nicol, very versatile now, crosses to the far side from right to left. So Steve Nicol, the footballer of the year, who gets his first... No, he doesn't. He almost got it in the air there, but he couldn't rise for it. And Venison comes on. So all the substitutions have been made. And my word, McCall, who came on as a substitute for Everton, getting that equaliser. 5 seconds to go in normal time. The man who scrambled the winning goal against the Holders Wimbledon in the quarter-final. It was another scrambled effort from 4 yards. Great work put in by Dave Watson. And now Nevin, stockings rolled down, has got the ball over on the far side. Works the ball into the area. Cotty trying to turn Ablett. Gets it across to the near post. And Bruce Grobbelaar is down. And he's got it. And it won't be just a question of skills now. It's more than that. It's fitness, of course, in this grueling heat. The players will be not only physically drained, but emotionally drained as well on this day. And there's something else that occurs to me too. Once upon a time we were talking about this game having to be settled today, weren't we? Kenny Dalglish was fighting the idea of a penalty shootout. Well, that was prophetic, wasn't it? Who knows? We might well need another game Both managers pressed for that, of course, a replay. And into extra time we go at 1-1. Always likely to go into extra time, so close these two sides. They drew both of their league matches this season. And Everton have the ball with their goalkeeper, Neville Southall. So no more players can be introduced into this game. Substitutes have been made. Southall's clearance. Sharp allows it to bounce. Heads it down. And Stephen takes over on the right. That's his orthodox position. Nevin's come in field. The ball is though with Cottee, 10 yards from the corner flag. Cottee goes back about 15 yards to the fullback McDonald. McDonald, a flat cross, dealt with by Houghton. Stabs it down for McMahon. McMahon can't get clear though. Great tackle by Stephen. Everton clearly here are pumped up. And why not by that equaliser? The game looked to be all over. That's why we had the invasion of the pitch. It was sheer exuberance, I think, nothing more than that. Can't condone it, of course, but it was just sheer excitement. As Cottee is offside, Everton thwarted in that moment. Free kick to Liverpool.
Yes, as you say, Mike, there's a boost for Everton, and they will take that boost into the first period of extra time, certainly. Liverpool have got to settle after the goal as well. You know, they will feel a little bit deflated. The cup was practically theirs, and suddenly it's just taken away from them, so they've got to pick themselves up from that.
Barry Venison, who captained Sunderland here in the 85 Milk Cup final against Dave Watson's Norwich. His long ball. Houghton now picks it up. Houghton tries a shot with his right foot. Neville Southall's behind it and then palms it down to make the clearance and almost sets up another opening for Houghton, who comes through. But Southall recovers second time round, and now he's cleared. Cottee shielding his eyes there. I think he lost the ball in the sun and he couldn't get onto it. And it was far too high for him anyway. And the other goalkeeper, Grobbelaar, has cleared towards the near side. Trevor Stephen, who really has played well in that important area in midfield, now been joined out there by McCall against McMahon and Whelan. McCall, the equalising goal for Everton with just 5 seconds left of normal time. And way back, after only 4 minutes of the game, John Aldridge gave Liverpool the lead. That looked to be the goal, the cup-winning goal, until McCall's late strike. Now with John Barnes. Falls over, but still manages to keep Liverpool moving. Gives it to Nicol. Nicol playing down the left now. Trying to open something up for Rush in the penalty area. But Dave Watson is defending well. Defending well just then. And just 6 seconds before the end of the game, going forward to set up the opportunity for McCall after Grobbelaar couldn't hold on to Watson's driven cross. Halfway inside the Everton half down the far side. Left-hand side for Liverpool. It's a throw-in. And Whelan, who must have thought he was going to lift up the cup, now involved in extra time. Houghton's layoff is a little bit tired. McMahon can't get there. Everton are winning a bit of the 50-50 stuff at the moment. There's a tussle between two of the substitutes, Venison and Wilson. Venison lays it off neatly for Whelan. It's a little bit crowded at the moment. Whelan now for Rush. Rush 20 yards out, carrying the ball forward. Barnes got in the way a little bit there, but does spread it wide now to Nicol over on the far side. The two teams will be wanting to use the flanks if they can. Nicol, left-footed shot. Charged down by McDonald. It might spin for a corner kick. No, it's just going to be a throw-in. A couple of yards from the flag over on the far side. Steve Nicol still full of running over on the far side. Going across to take it. And throwing it over John Barnes for Beardsley. And Beardsley's just tackled on the edge of the area by McDonald. It's back again in the sunshine over on the far side again with Nicol. Nicol chip ball this time. Rushes there. Swivels, turns. Goal! Brilliant goal! And Merseyside history is created at Wembley by Ian Rush, who puts Liverpool not only back into the lead here in the cup final, but breaks the record set by the legendary Dixie Dean of scoring now 20 goals in Merseyside derbies. It has not been Ian Rush's season since he returned from Juventus, but now it's ending on a high for him because Rush has come on as a substitute and after 5 minutes into extra time puts Liverpool back in the front with a swivel and a crushing finish. Liverpool 2, Everton 1.
Superb finish. Everton's defence just caught really because they allowed him to turn, but he turned in a flash. And the ball's at the other end, but he's offside. Rush had his back to goal when the ball came. It was a lovely ball in from Nicol. Nice little chip in with his right foot, in-swinger from left back. He let it bounce onto his right foot, turned the defender. I think it was Ratcliffe. I wasn't positive, but I think it was Ratcliffe. And as he turned, he struck it perfectly. If Southall had have had Grobbelaar next to him, they both wouldn't have stopped that.
What a personal story we've got now with Ian Rush, the man whose 2 goals, of course, won the Cup for Liverpool in the last Merseyside FA Cup final 3 years ago. They came from behind on that day to win by 3-1. Rush scored 2 goals, won the double, of course. He might be now setting up another double for Dalglish. He's played the ball through for Barnes, but Barnes, or was it Beardsley, offside just. Flag goes up near side. Free kick to Everton. 6 minutes gone then in extra time. Remarkable stuff here at Wembley. Aldridge in the starting lineup. Rush on the bench. Aldridge scores. Liverpool 1-0. Everton equalise. 5 seconds to go. Stuart McCall substitute. Rush, who came on earlier for John Aldridge, scores a brilliant goal on the turn. Southall no chance at all against his fellow countrymen. And the Liverpool songs now and the flags being waved around the tunnel away to our left. Great character here being shown by Liverpool, because they were down a little bit, of course, and why not after Everton's late equaliser? They've picked themselves up, recharged the batteries, leading here by 2-1, and playing sensibly now from Whelan back to Bruce Grobbelaar.
Psychological test as well for Everton. Dragged themselves off the floor once. They've got to do it again now. It's not easy in this sort of heat. And, they may be thinking, oh, well, perhaps it's not our year, you never know. But they've done it once. Why can't they do it again?
If there's a moment, Jimmy, we'll get a comment about Rushy breaking the Dixie Dean record and all that. But even more important from Liverpool's point of view, he might have won the cup for them. It's the result that I suspect at least one half of Merseyside and perhaps the rest of neutral Britain wants. They perhaps want a Liverpool victory here today. The ball is out of play over on the far side. Ian Rush.
Yes, I was saying I don't think he's, with not playing in the team, he isn't the player he was when he went 2 years ago. I still stand by that, simply because he hasn't had much practice. But the record he's got, to break that record of Dixie Dean is tremendous. He was the best striker we've created, in my opinion, when he first set off to Italy.
He picked his moment, didn't he, as well? A Wembley final being shown around the world. It's being shown in America for the first time live today. Ian Rush has picked his moment. He scored a goal to break the record. Everton are trying to get back again through Tony Cottee. But Barry Venison looking extremely fit, as one would expect, having only played for 8 minutes in this game, coming on after 94. Steve Staunton, who looked so weary, came off, I noticed, with both boots off, limped towards the bench, sitting down there alongside John Aldridge. I wonder what John Aldridge is thinking.
I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing, he has scored, hasn't he, in this match, and one of the things about great strikers, going back through the years, they've always scored goals on the big occasion, haven't they? They've always done it on the big occasion.
And now Beardsley and Rush again tried to thread a way through. Southall's got it, and Kenny Dalglish was reported to say yesterday that he had the 3 best strikers in the world to pick from, but of course the 3 into 2 don't go. He opted for Aldridge and Beardsley. Nice contrast. Of course, Aldridge and Rush have played together, as well as Barnes tries to set something up for Houghton. Ratcliffe just managed to get an interception, but Wilson can't carry it forward for Everton, and Houghton has it again on the edge of the area. Back to Venison. Venison, poor ball from him. Ratcliffe shuts the door tight on that occasion, but Everton not finding their colleagues at the moment. Their heads perhaps have just gone down again for a second. They'll need to lift themselves up again. Liverpool keeping the ball, happily doing that. Hansen back to young Gary Ablett, the man who's taken his chance, of course, following Mark Lawrenson's retirement and following those injuries to Hansen and Gillespie, making that central defensive berth his and gaining selection on merit today over Gary Gillespie. Ablett again back to Bruce Grobbelaar, who perhaps is poised to continue that remarkable run. It really is looking like Blackpool Beach down there at the moment now. So many spectators and stewards sitting down there on the running track in the sunshine, wondering whether there will be any more drama in this final. 2-1 to Liverpool into extra time, and Everton on the halfway line through perhaps their best player, Trevor Stephen. He really has had a fine match. Stephen slips it to the left-hand side to Wilson, and Vanden Hauwe comes into the movement now. Vanden Hauwe coming forward. Venison allowing him to come forward. Vanden Hauwe on the edge of the area, but a good tackle from McMahon. Back with McCall now. McCall might need some help. He's got 4 or 5 Liverpool players around him. Goes through into the area. Can he pull it back? No. Houghton was there. 3 yards out. Snakes his leg in. Grobbelaar's got it. Good run though by McCall.
Great little run, yes. He's done well, McCall, since he's come on. Apart from scoring the goal, I think he's given them a little bit of bite in midfield and penetration from the central area. It was a good chase back by Houghton. He's one player, Houghton. He never seems to tire. He doesn't seem to tire. Of all the rest, He's got a tremendous engine, just keeps going all the time. Jack Charlton was saying to me, of all the players he's seen, he doesn't think he's seen anybody who runs as far and as often as Ray Houghton.
And he's got the ball again. And Trevor Stephen, who I think has done really well, took it away from him on that occasion. McMahon's got it, and McMahon gives it back to Grobbelaar. John Barnes is in space over on the far side. Could it be third time lucky for him? This is his third FA Cup final. Yet to finish as a winner. Lost here with Watford against Everton. Lost here, of course, last year with Liverpool against Wimbledon. But Liverpool have their noses in front again, but only just. 2-1 after some really dramatic stuff in the Wembley sunshine. Punishing heat down there for the players to contend with as well. And Everton have got a free kick, and we've got 3 minutes left of this first period of extra time, and Trevor Stephen and Stuart McCall congregating around the ball. It's about 15 yards inside the Liverpool half. They've taken it, but Joe Worrell wants them to come back another couple of yards. He's been a stickler for that throughout the game, but he's been consistent, that's the main thing. And Kevin Ratcliffe makes a mark and prepares to take the free kick. McDonnell makes a run to the far side. Ratcliffe, though, goes straight down the centre. Hansen rises, finds McCall, though. McCall shot! Equalising goal for Everton! And what a sweet volley from Stuart McCall from 20 yards. Bruce Grobbelaar couldn't do anything about it. What a substitution. McCall gets the first equaliser. 5 seconds to go in normal time. And following that free kick, which Liverpool didn't get away cleanly, McCall, with 3 minutes to go in the first period of extra time, has scored again. It's Liverpool 2, Everton 2.
Tremendous, isn't it, really? You know, full credit to the players and full credit to McCall as well. He saw his opportunity. As it dropped, the Liverpool defence didn't come out and challenge him. That's fatigue. Whether they would have closed him down in the first 90 minutes. There was a little bit of fatigue there. As the ball came out, he saw his chance. He hit it perfectly. We had an excellent view of it. Grobbelaar couldn't respond to that. It was in the side netting. Perfect chance. It's amazing. I said, didn't I, earlier on, Mark, I thought McCall might have been in the original selection. And because he has done well, he did well at Bradford. Took him a while to settle at Goodison. Took him a little while to settle, but he's done it. And, you know, he's proved the point here today to me. I think this performance here today has now really, you know, brought him home at Goodison.
And Everton are coming again down the right-hand side. And Nevin's trying to take on Ablett. Well, you said earlier in the commentary, Jimmy, that Bruce had been off his feet here today. He has now, twice. And McCall's made him do that. He made him pick the ball out of the back of the net twice. Are we heading, I wonder, for Thursday, June the 8th? Personally, I hope not. Let's hope it's settled here today, because we don't want this one to continue for another fortnight or so. I think it's all set up really for a finish here today with these 82,000 people on this glorious day. Fiercely competitive game. Everton again, well, back in it now. Perhaps they've got the initiative again, but Liverpool still showing great character. Barnes to Rush, and Rush has scored another goal with his head. And I don't believe it. Within a minute and a half of Everton equalising for the second time, John Barnes breaks down the left, delivers the cross, a little crouch from Ian Rush, and a header past Neville Southall. And not only has he broken that Dixie Dean record, he's gone even one past him now. He's now scored 21 goals in Merseyside derbies. Spectacular substitutions in this final. 2 goals from McCall, a substitute. 2 goals from Rush, a substitute. And Liverpool lead here by 3-2.
Excellent header, excellent cross. But I must say it, I feel that what's happening now is fatigue is starting to tell. You know, there was no close down again from Everton there. Rush had a free header, the ball travelled all of 35, 40 yards. They had the 2 central defenders back, no challenge. Rush took the chance superbly.
And I make it that we have time up now for the first period of extra time. Colin Harvey will be so disappointed with that his team concede within seconds really of scoring.
Extraordinary scenes, extraordinary turnaround in the match.
Wrong reasons. Now it's a special final for the right reasons. Aldridge 4 minutes, 1-0. McCall 44 minutes, 1-1. Rush 5 minutes into extra time, 2-1. McCall 12 minutes into extra time, 2-all. Rush 2 minutes later, 3-2. 14 minutes of extra time. Van den Aar with a cross. Sharp gets there. Ball is cleared as Sharp goes tumbling away. Good challenge by Ablett. McMahon gets a really lucky rebound, and McCall, scorer of two Everton goals, comes back, and then Vanden Hauwe pumps it forward again. Ablett gets above Sharp. Whelan's there. Whelan lays it wide to Nicol, now playing at left back with Barry Venison on for extra time with Steve Staunton limping away. Nicol still keeps the possession. Checks his stride, flicks the ball back to Barnes, who set up both goals for Ian Rush. And they did a little war dance when they'd done it. That is Ian Rush. Rush turns away from the challenge from Ratcliffe. Square to Houghton. Houghton starts to go at the Everton defenders. Houghton still there. Little jink at a turn. Can't get to a wall of blue shirts, though. Watson gets it away from him. Vanden Hauwe clears. Sharp with the header. Ball headed nicely and neatly to Nevin. Nevin blew Everton socks around his ankles. He's challenged by Beardsley. Still keeps the possession. Lets it slide to McCall. McCall 10 yards inside the Liverpool half. Right out to the far side to Vanden Hauwe, who's worked very hard and very efficiently for Everton. Back to McCall, challenged by Rush. It's been a highly competitive game, to say the least, here this afternoon in sweltering heat. Ratcliffe, long ball. Sharp gets the header, tries to find Cotty, and in the end, Hansen lets it run on to Grobbelaar, who puts his foot on the ball and then just rolls it with the sole of his left boot.
Sharp's won his share of headers today. Cotty's not always run to advantage off them. There's an occasion there when the ball was knocked all of 40 yards. He got a good header on it, knocked it across the box. Cotty was running behind him.
Long clearance again from Grobbelaar. Radcliffe's underneath it for Everton. McCall finds Wilson, one of the two substitutes. Well, it almost got through the Liverpool defence, and Cotty was looking for it. Hansen did well to knob that one away into touch. And the throw is about halfway inside the Liverpool half. I suspect one or two bits of paper fluttering down means there may be a little breeze down there at the moment, and for that relief, much thanks, the players will say. It's 3-2 in extra time here to Liverpool. Liverpool have the possession with Whelan halfway inside his own half. Barnes inside the centre circle, then stops it, comes back towards his own goal, and then hits it. Oh, well, it was all right in the end, but it was a couple of yards wide of Grobbelaar, and that would have been, well, the most dramatic of dramas. I would have that bobbled into an empty net.
Certainly would. But it's the thing is, Barnes there, in that sort of position at this stage of a game, he's just played it comfortably, really. Obviously he's saving himself for, the next one. Is it 10 minutes to go? Everton have got to go and get it now. It's a question of that.
Rush, Beardsley, and so often that combination works, where Rush plays an early ball to Beardsley, who stabs it straight through the gap, but the accuracy was not there this time. But Nichol's underneath it. Rush gets the header. But there's time for Watson to control it with his right instep and turn it back to Neville Southall. And Southall, I'm sure, will get this long clearance again from the Everton goalkeeper. In fact, it's height this time rather than length. That wasn't really what he would have wanted. Underneath it, the battle by Whelan finds Nicol, left back just below us. Too far forward for Rush, and indeed Watson realises Rush has got no earthly chance of getting that, so lets it run on to Southall. We have had a little more than 3.5 minutes of the second period of extra time. And it is Liverpool 3, Everton 2, Aldridge, McCall, Rush in that order. And twice Everton have dragged themselves off the floor. Can they do it now? And again, Grobbelaar taking plenty of time with the clearance, right-footed. Looks a little bit tired now, not surprisingly. Doesn't get quite the length. And Whelan nods the ball to Nicol. And Nicol will check and hold as he's challenged by Stephen, and then plays it square. Safe ball to Hansen inside the centre circle. Hansen to Beardsley, on to Barnes. Play on, says the referee. Good decision. Rush tries the shot, and it goes. And Houghton, a great save by Southall. That had to be a goal from Ray Houghton. It was mishit by Rush, and Houghton was there, and Southall saved it.
Well, I think Ray Houghton should have settled it there. When Rush hit the ball, it was deflected right into his path, really. It was plumb centre of the goal, no more than 8 or 9 yards out. Southall's a hard man to pass, I'll admit, but I think he should have buried that. But a good save by Southall.
As Houghton takes the corner himself short, Venison's gone to help him out. They both fall down because they're challenged by McCall, and McCall, I think, has got away with it because he's got the pace. He has indeed got away from both of them. And a good tackle back by Venison, but it still reaches Cotty on the halfway line. Cotty to McCall. And Everton will keep the possession inside their own half as Stephen plays it towards us. Picked up in the end by McDonald, and plenty of tight skills from Everton. They feel that perhaps they can still come back here. McCall hoists it forward. Nevin's just outside the Liverpool area. The shot by Shaw. The area was going wide, but that was a good effort. He saw Grobler off his line. He tried a swinging shot. What he was hoping, the top right-hand corner, a couple of feet wide.
Yes, it was a good move from the back there by Everton. About 3 or 4 good passes put together. Nevin actually was backing into Ablett. I think had the shot been in danger at all, I think the referee would have blown up.
Well, that was an awful goal kick by Grobler. Didn't go more than 20 yards outside his area. Fortunate for him, there were a lot of red shirts to cover up his embarrassment. And then Venison knocks it 25 yards back to Grobler.
Yes, that's fatigue as well, but it's noticeable that Liverpool now are trying to take the sting out of the game. They're knocking it backwards. They've knocked it backwards 2 or 3 times already in this period of extra time, back to Grobler, and he's taking his time as well. The onus is all on Everton now. It's nothing to do with performance now, it's purely on the result.
As Beardsley takes the ball from Barnes on to McMahon. McMahon square to Whelan inside the centre circle, plays it wide to the right back Venison, who's got a fresh pair of legs in this extra period of extra time as he came on as a substitute, and he's happy just to play it square to Nicol, and Nichol's just as happy to play it back to Ablett, and boos of frustration from the Everton supporters. And Nicol will play it back once more to Ablett, and Ablett will let it run on to Grobler, and we have 8 minutes of extra time remaining.
It's all on Everton really to go and get the ball, and all other people will be decrying this. The neutrals particularly will be saying, you know, that's not very good, but the point is they've done all the hard work now. They don't want to give it away, so they'll play it around. It's up to Everton to come and close it down and make it difficult for Liverpool to knock it around at the back.
It's a throw into Everton, and Van den Hau races along that track far side to get hold of the ball. He's got hold of it, and he'll run back also to the spot that's being pointed out by the linesman. Liverpool 3, Everton 2, in extra time here in the 1989 Cup final. This McCall had equalised in the dying seconds for Everton after John Aldridge had given the lead after only 4 minutes. The highest of drama here, and we still don't know. Southall now decides to come way outside his own penalty area to get even longer distance from his kick, and he does too. Drops it just outside the Liverpool penalty area. Nichol's underneath it, drops though to Stephen. Stephen back to McDonald, the right back. McDonald drifts it forward. McCall, little chip from him, looking for Sharp. Half headed away by Whelan, and then the ball hammered in. Well, it wasn't a bad effort from Stephen. It was worth having a go at it. It was a good couple of yards wide in the end. Goal kick to Liverpool.
Yes, run down the touchline to get the ball. There's no ball boys over there, or on this touchline either. They're behind 2 sets of goals, nobody on the touchline.
As the ball is laid through a gap, and Russ is there, and Russ hasn't got round Southall. A great save again. Southall, one Welsh international against another, and again Southall saves Everton, because another goal for Liverpool now would seal it surely. Southall in great form as he's been all season for Everton. Nicol 30 yards back to Grobler, and Grobler taking his time, almost as if he wants to weigh the ball or look at the name on it, and then finally he clears. High, underneath it Ratcliffe. Ball drops to Houghton though. Rush square to Beardsley, halfway inside the Everton half. Beardsley lays it wide to Barnes. Barnes going down the left, and a good tackle by McDonald. And McDonald not only tackles well, gets up and clears. Finds Nevin. Nevin is challenged by Nicol, and Nicol's got the ball. And he's surely being held off the ball there. Oh, no, surely not. Clearly, Trevor Stephen there was obstructing Steve Nicol, but Joe Worrell was closer and said, no, we'll play on. But that clearly was an obstruction to me, and I would have given an indirect free kick. There we are. Southall with the clearance. 6 minutes of extra time remaining. Liverpool 3, Everton 2. Venison on his own 18-yard area finds Houghton, and he plays it 20 yards back. Guess who? To Bruce Grobler.
It's a good point you made about Joe Worrell there. You were just talking, everybody seems to forget about the referee, you know, don't they? He's had to endure all this heat as well and run up and down, and he's got to keep his wits about him. He's done well, Joe Worrell. He hasn't been noticed a great deal, but I think that's often the sign of a good referee. He's let the play go on. He's done well.
Beardsley picks up the possession for Liverpool. Still holds the ball, Beardsley. Gets away from one challenge. Tries to get through the second. Can't. Rush tries to pick it up. Can't either. And the ball will finally go over the goal line. It came off Stephen. So it's a corner to Liverpool. And Neville Southall runs out and spots the ball up for the corner to be taken by Ray Houghton, who will now walk as slowly as if he's going on a Sunday afternoon stroll, and breaks into a very slow trot. And we have got less now than 4 minutes A little less than 4 minutes of extra time remaining. Liverpool 3, Everton 2. And Liverpool take the corner short to Barnes. Back to Houghton. Houghton almost on the corner flag. And then tucks it back to Venison, the fullback. And he plays it back further to McMahon. And McMahon will then start a run. I think he has done. He's got himself into space down the right. McMahon still holds the ball. Then he gets round one defender, can't get round the second. The second defender is Pat Nevin, would you believe, who's back helping out. And the ball is still kept in play. Everton have done well there. And again, played through, almost gets to Sharp. Fortunately for Liverpool, Johnny Whelan was there. And Hansen will play it back to Ablett. And Ablett will play it back to Grobbelaar. Liverpool 3-2 here. And the ball with Nicol. Nicol straight forward to Barnes. Barnes through the gap. Whelan. Whelan goes on a run. He's challenged by McCall. Has to turn away. Back to Barnes. Barnes to Beardsley inside the centre circle. Square to McMahon. Again, possession stuff here by Liverpool. Venison back to McMahon. McMahon back to Venison. Venison will hold it. And still holds it. And then square to McMahon again. And McMahon's going back to where he wants it to go, which is back inside his own half. And Hansen will lay it back to Grobbelaar. And we have got 3.5 minutes of extra time remaining.
I was watching the Everton players there when the ball was being knocked around at the back, and one or two of them just couldn't summon the energy really to go and close them down. When you're in front, it's amazing. You can always find energy from somewhere. When you're behind, it's always difficult.
Barnes going down the left. He's come free from McDonald. Barnes is there. He's gone outside. McDonald tries the shot. Oh, what a save by Southall. That was a save of saves. Super shot by Barnes, going in all the way, and Neville Southall denies him. That's probably the best of half a dozen saves by Southall. Liverpool are still there. Barnes is still there. Good tackling by Everton. Beardsley with a shot. Another save by Southall. A splendid shot by Beardsley. Seemed to be creeping in the corner, and Southall was there. It's a corner. Oh, Jim, what about this goalkeeping?
Not bad for a Welshman, Peter. I thought the second save was absolutely brilliant. You know, it really was an awkward one, that right at the foot of the post. The first one, you know, he did it well. He had a good view of Barnes hitting the ball, but he palmed it out well. The second one could have been a little bit awkward, because the goalkeepers, although they don't run around, they feel the fatigue as well.
Nichols going forward again for Liverpool. That takes a deflection, and Southall tries to prevent it going over his goal line. He can't, so it's another corner. So Liverpool turning the screw again. They lead by 3 goals to 2. And the referee, in fact, has changed his mind and says that'll be a goal kick, or at least he's given a free kick, I think. Yes, he has. And it goes back to Southall, and Southall back to McDonald. 1.5 minutes remaining of extra time here at Wembley in the 1989 Cup Final. Long clearance by Ablett. Rush prepared to chase it. Kevin Radcliffe is there to deny him. McDonald, sensible ball, out into space, far side. So in the last minute, Everton are going to throw everything again. Muscle and sinew, the whole business. Flick forward. Ablett heads the ball away. Helped away by Hansen. Sharp is there for Everton. Plays it wide. Nicol comes in. Good tackle by Nicol. Nicol brought down by Nevin. And Nevin knew it. And he'll stop the ball and he'll play it back to Nicol. And Nicol gets him weirdly to his feet. And it'll be a free kick.
Yes, Everton could have done without that foul by Nevin now, because that'll knock about 45 seconds off this ball. Nicol just knock it over the top. Yes, he has done. They'll have to go after it now.
And the whistle goes for a free kick.
Oh dear.
And it's rather ridiculous, because that was simply the whistle for Ian Rush offside. And I must say that while the 2 pitch invasions we've had have been reasonably organised, because there are no fences here, the stewards have done a good job. But one just fears what might happen when the final whistle goes, because at the moment, Ian...
4 or 5 times now, you know, it makes you wonder, doesn't it, whether we can cope with that. I think we should be able to cope without fences, surely.
McCall picks the ball up for Everton, and he's fouled, McCall, by Beardsley. Quick free kick. Everton want to take it, they can't, because McMahon is standing on the ball. Now this free kick is about 8-9 yards outside the Liverpool penalty area, so everybody's down there now, except Neville Southall, who's 10 yards outside his area, and I don't think he wants to look either. It couldn't be even more drama, surely, could it? Trevor Stephen, square, and the shot comes in! Oh, just over the bar! Oh, my word! I don't think I can take much more of this, Jim. McDonald did well there, didn't he?
I think that was the last gasp. Quite a good free kick, actually. McDonald didn't quite get hold of it. hit it with the side of his foot. It was rising all the time over the top. Grobbelaar seems to have it covered, but I think that's the last chance gone.
We have a few seconds remaining. I see the referee looks at both his linesmen, and the referee blows his whistle, and Liverpool have won the cup by 3 goals to 2 in extra time. Quite remarkable. And now I'm sorry to tell you that there are dozens and dozens of people pouring on the pitch, which is really very stupid and frankly a little dangerous too, because some of those Liverpool players are literally being hemmed in by supporters. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, I think it's going to be shifted, because the bulk of the Merseyside crowd are shouting off, and so they're taking notice of it. They're going off now. There's about 150, 200 of them got on, and they're around in front of the Royal Box area. They've got to behave themselves and get back. Otherwise, the fences will be put back up, and they know that full well. People will be watching it, from other sports as well, and from the ministry. So they've got to be careful.
Well, amazing scenes then, and I look down and a very sad and distressed face of Colin Harvey, the Everton manager. He's had his problems. He had to go to Goodison Park and take over from the enormously successful Howard Kendall. He's had his own personal problems with the hip operations on 2 occasions. He's worked hard for Everton, Colin Harvey, and he must have felt at one stage, indeed on 2 occasions this afternoon, he must have felt that while everybody outside Everton, I would have thought, in football wanted Liverpool to win, he must have felt, Colin Harvey, that perhaps it was going to be his day after all. Well, it's not going to be his day, but we've had a quite remarkable cup final. After 4 minutes, John Aldridge, 1-0 to Liverpool. With 5 seconds to go. Yes, just 5 seconds. Stuart McCall, 1-1. 5 minutes into extra time. Ian Rush, 2-1. McCall again, 12 minutes into extra time. 2-2. And then 2 minutes later, Ian Rush, with a stooping header, makes the score 3-2. You won't see anything much more remarkable, Jimmy Armfield, than this.
No, it's been an exciting cup final. I think everybody's had their money's worth that's been here. I think a lot of people will remember it. It's amazing what you were saying about Colin Harvey there. He's had 2 hip operations as well. He's had to contend with that. He's fought his way through. He's got Everton to Wembley. He's had a few problems along the way this season. League form's been a bit in and out, but they've battled well here today. And his team have done him proud, I think. But it's amazing how some people seem to have that little bit of luck with him at the right time. And I've always thought Kenny Dalglish is... he's always had that little bit of... You've got to have the rub of the green as well. He's always had it along the way as a player and as a manager. Some people, they call them winners, but the fact is, that they've got the players and they've performed magnificently.
Well, now it's the time for the winners, and they move across the carpet below us to go up those steps. And the winners are Liverpool this afternoon. And Ronnie Whelan, and I'm reminded by my colleague Alan Green, that the last time a Republic of Ireland international lifted the cup was Noel Cantwell for Manchester United against Leicester City back in 1963. Well, the Republic of Ireland are represented there with a bright white number 5 on the back of his very red Liverpool jersey. And it'll be Ronnie Whelan in a moment who will step forward, the Duchess of Kent. And just about a minute ago, 2 sets of colours, in that front box, red and white and blue and white. They've now put red and white on the cup. The Duchess smiles, hands it to Ronnie Whelan. John Smith, the chairman of Liverpool, smiles as well. And Ronnie Whelan will turn and he'll hold up a piece of silver. It belongs to Liverpool FC. Ronnie Whelan smiles, shakes hands with the chairman, John Smith, and away in the pitch, the Everton players sit disconsolately. A number of players have said to me, Wembley Stadium is not the place for losers. Well, certainly Everton have played their part in making this a memorable time. There's Bruce Grobbelaar, and he puts the lid of the cup on the head of Ronnie Whelan. That's Bruce Grobbelaar, the clown, but also Bruce Grobbelaar, the ace goalkeeper. And there's Barry Venison, the man who came on in extra time. And there's Steve Staunton, who went on for Venison to come on. And there's Ian Rush shaking hands with the chairman, having a word with the Welsh international who got 2 goals. And there's John Aldridge, disappointed to be taken off, but he set the scene going with a goal after 4 minutes. And there's the man who never stopped running all afternoon, Peter Beardsley. He didn't have his best of games, Beardsley, but he never ever stopped running. So the winners are Liverpool, and now it's the time for Everton. And Kevin Ratcliffe walks up the steps leading his team in blue. They beat Watford in 84. They lost to Manchester United in 85. They lost to Liverpool in 86. They've lost again. Kevin Ratcliffe looking a little sad. Nobody could do more than he did. He accepts the runners-up medal. I talked once to Neville Southall, you know, about medals, and he said the medals look almost identical. When you open the little velvet box, the medals for the runners-up and for the winners look almost the same until you turn them over, and on the back of one it says winners, and on the back of the other one it says runners-up, and it's no place, Jim, for runners-up in the end.
I think Everton can go on with a lot of satisfaction today, Peter. I think they've made this a very memorable cup final. I think they've, you know, ridiculous thing to say, but both sides, you know, make cup finals. You've got to have not just luck and just goals, it's the way they play as well. And I think they've both played exceptionally well today. I think they've done the game a lot of credit. I think they've done Merseyside a lot of credit as well. And I think it's important from Everton's point of view, they get their heads up and come next season, because I think they can. And I think people like McCall, Stephen, Nevin played well today. And I think they might make Everton a bit of a force next time.
Well, the Liverpool players now move away traditionally to the right, where there are some 100 photographers. These are the pictures you'll see in your national newspapers tomorrow. I'd like to leave, certainly, this cup final with a personal word of my own, which is that for me, Kenny Dalglish, after the disaster at Hillsborough, grew in stature as a man. So did all the players. Having been up to Liverpool on a number of occasions after Hillsborough, I realised, in fact, what they had meant to the bereaved. Their counselling, their advice by both players and wives was a credit to football. I think this afternoon football won, but the cup winners in the end are Liverpool by 3-2.
The closing stages of a quite dramatic cup final described for you by Peter Jones. That was Peter's 22nd cup final commentary. I don't suppose he's seen many more dramatic games on this famous pitch here in North London. And alongside him this afternoon, Jimmy Armfield and Mike Ingham. We'll hope to talk to one or two members of the victorious Liverpool side, and if we can, one or two of the rather more disappointed Everton players before we finish this evening at 6 o'clock. It's also